And in some ways, I don't really think Eric can be faulted that much. Final bell tells me classes are over for today. I've reached that point of a new routine where I've forgotten exactly how many times I've done it. The first and second day of it, in this case, first and second day of classes, it's brand new. You remember every detail. The third and fourth and fifth, you keep the numbers in your head, but it's already starting to bleed together. And at that point, you tend to lose count. As Mr. Lindell wraps up the last bit of his German lesson, I realize I've indeed lost count. At least I'm past the point where the number comes offhand. 6. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's my 6th day of classes. But I had to do math to figure it out, so the point still stands. The sound of chairs scraping on floors hits my ears. I realize I spent the day wishing class would end, but not thinking of something to do once it did. And it's Saturday. Class is out before noon. And that's what your average teenager would occupy a Saturday afternoon with, but I suppose I'm not your average teenager anymore, and this doesn't feel like an average Saturday afternoon. What am I to do then? You're going to go see Jeanne. You idiot. There's always the option of being a good student and keeping up with my studies. Jeanne should be finishing up her classes, so I guess that she'll probably be at the library soon. We promised her like 3 times, dude. Why would you even think of backing out now? Even if I wasn't shooting for her as my romantic option, like, you promised her repeatedly. Like, I don't know what else to tell you at this point. As I approach the area we're studying at the other day, I see that Jeanne and Isolde are eagerly discussing something in French. La réunion est ce soir, no? In effet, I'm gonna give this my best shot. Ce soir de porter tous les pièces pour le télescope cette fois. La dernière fois tu avais oublié l'intel. I took 6 years of German and like a year of American Sign Language for this. J'aurais vraiment voulu être... What letter is that? Un ciel assez gros de toy. Please stop. Je suis désolé, vraiment. Je l'amène habituellement avec moi. The way they're intensely engaging conversation is something important. Something about a telescope? My French is really bad. Yeah, it's probably better than mine, Eric. I barely held on to the French I learned in the past, but even that's going to slip away with time. I make the best attempt that I can to greet them as properly as I can. Bon appétit, dames. I hope I said that right. Jeanne and Isolde immediately jump in surprise. Jeanne sees me, her face lights up, happy to see that I've arrived at the session. Eric, je n'aurais que tu parler français. Sorry, do you only know a little bit of French? She switches back to English so fluidly without a second thought. It's impressive how easy she makes that look. Sorta picked up quite a bit from my schooling before I came here, but I'm very rusty. I appreciate the fact that you greeted us so nicely. Bon après-midi à toi aussi. Merci. Sorry for being so late. It's been a long morning. That's fine. Actually, we just got here a few minutes ago. She beckons me over to take my usual seat at the table. Jeanne and Isolde are both sitting in one side of the 6-person table with 2 empty chairs across from them, and 2 chairs respectively on each end of the table. Looks like I have a few options available in terms of seating. Let me just sit down. Bro. Get it together and sit next to her. Jeanne's side of the table makes the most sense for me to sit at. Having her position between Isolde and I would make things easy for her to navigate between the 2 of us. Oh my gosh, she's pretty. I take a seat and flash a smile toward Jeanne. Okay, let's get started. Isolde joins in with a nod, leaving Jeanne to clap her hands in affirmation. All right, then. She directs her attention to me. Anything in particular you want to cover for yourself? Take a second to gather my material. Only a few things. I'm actually already feeling a lot better with my physics work, mostly due to your notes. Sorry that I copied so much the last time I saw you. It's not a problem, really. Anything to help you out. I really appreciate it. Tutoring session sinks into its normal pace like the last time I was here. She wastes no time drilling the both of us on our respective subjects, Isolde on her maths and me on my physics lessons. Some of the questions she makes up for me are a bit tougher than those in my homework, but she's great at letting me work through them with many simple hints along the way. Isolde's math questions, on the other hand, even alongside the generous assistance from Jeanne, take little time for her to grasp the fundamentals of them. As long as Jeanne explains it to her, she can fully understand it. I'm still wondering if Isolde just has trouble focusing in class, or if she already understands the math and just enjoys spending time with her. Either way, Jeanne continues to prove herself as an excellent tutor to both of us. Time flies far too quickly as the chapel bell rings, signaling students that the last meal of the day is ready and waiting. It's a lot of work we did this afternoon. I know now she's dead serious with her comment, but nonetheless I decided to add my own playfulness to it. I agree. Must you be so merciless on the 2 of us, Jeanne? Jeanne fakes an indignant look like a teacher scolding a complaining student. Well, with that attitude, I should assign you some extra homework, shouldn't I? I continued to play the part of set unruly student by sarcastically replying to her joking demeanor. Oh no, please don't, Miss Lefebvre. Our shared laugh was cut off by a growing whimper from Isolde. You're not really going to give us more work, are you? The three of you could make a great stand-up comedy bit. Surprised how genuinely upset Isolde looks, as is Jeanne. No, Isolde, Eric and I were just joking around. I'm not even authorized to give you 2 more homework. Isolde sighs in exasperated relief. That's good. Please don't worry me like that. Sorry, I didn't mean to. It's fine. An awkward pause hangs over the room. It's certainly been a long day for all of us. Much to my relief, Jeanne breaks the silence. Eric, Isolde and I usually head out for the cafeteria in a little bit. Would you like to walk over with that? Yes. Well, I can't say I'm not hungry. Scratch that. It's tired days with me gnawing hunger that even my stash of junk food won't satiate. This is hunger only a plate full of hot food can fill. Or 2. Plus a sampling of the dessert bar. Sure. However, my homework would say otherwise. I'll see if I can meet up with you later. No, you idiot! Eric, you are so frustrating sometimes. I'll see if I can meet up with you later. I think I'll wait a bit before heading there. I want to finish you off these last few equations. Perhaps Jeanne, her study habits are already rubbing off on me. Try not to overwork yourself, Eric. I'm pretty sure skipping dinner for studying will cause more trouble than it's worth. It's not that. It's more that I'm just eager to start applying your tips to actual classwork. Plus, it'd be nice to relax in my room tonight, not focus on physics right after dinner. I throw my hands up in defense towards her worried expression. Don't worry, I have no intention of skipping a good meal. Okay. Doesn't take her long to shift her back into her usual bubbly attitude. If you're up for it, we'll see you later then. Don't worry if you don't see us there. It's really busy. The lines can get messy at times. Best of luck to you too. I can meet up with you guys later. Jeanne gives her classic smile and Isolde nods. Soon enough, the 2 girls pack up their things and wave goodbye as they work their way out of the library. Our conversation works its way back to French, which all too quickly fades into both sound and understanding. After 10 minutes, I realized that I managed about half a page in work in the first few minutes, then spent the rest of the time staring blankly at the work in front of me. I may have bitten off more than I can chew. The motivation Jeanne gave me faded quickly after she departed, and something tells me I might need a couple more sessions before I can develop some decent study habits. Still, I tried, sorta. Time for dinner. Studying on the empty stomach seems futile. That's what Jeanne was saying, you idiot! You should have gone with her in the first place and then done it afterwards. Or even slipped in a, hey, by the way, in case I have questions, how about you give me your phone number so I can ask you for some study tips? Come on, man! These women are practically throwing themselves into your arms and you're too stupid to see it. On the way to the cafeteria, I pass a flight of stairs. Ordinarily, this wouldn't be worth comment, but someone sitting on the second-to-last step catches my eye. It's Annalise. I wonder if this is normally where she spends her lunch breaks. Something tells me that, yes, it probably is. She looks a little forlorn sitting there on her own. I know she doesn't have any food. I wonder if getting lunch is on her to-do list at all. You're the one who's late. She might have eaten for all you know. I glance through the cafeteria's open doors, eager to get some food myself. In the length queue before the counter, I can see Jeanne standing with someone else. Isolde looks like, though her back's to me. I look back to Anna. If it was anybody else, it would be safe to assume that they aren't interested in company. Otherwise, they'd be in the cafeteria themselves. But with Anna, it's much harder to tell. Look. Roast me in the comments if you disagree. Anna is fine. We talk to Anna a lot. In fact, we've been talking to her, quite a bit. I think we actually have a pretty healthy rapport with her. But we're late. For all we know, she's eaten, and she's fine. In fact, we can shoot her a text later tonight. Be like, hey, how's it going? Be a good friend. Being a good friend is great. But we have a goal, and that goal is named Jeanne. She doesn't look like she wants any company. Sorta, hard to tell. I don't know. I'm sure she's fine on her own. Look, you don't need to guilt trip me, okay? Don't do this to me, game. I don't want the PNG on screen to be mad at me, but I have what I want too. Silently promising to say hi to Annalise later, I make my way over to Jeanne and Isolde, both of whom have been slowly inching forward in the long line they're part of. I sidled up to them, but Jeanne noticing my presence first. Hey. Hey there, did I miss much? Only if you enjoy waiting in lines. We haven't moved much. Their faces are extraordinarily gloomy. Seems like my guess about them being here a long time was right. What happened? A lot of people? It's not uncommon for large groups of students to finish their studies or activities and come to dinner at the same time. The cafeteria's popularity seems to go in waves. Right now, there seems to be a bit of a high tide. One of the serving areas had a bunch of desserts come out, so the lines got blocked by accident. It's a shame because they took most of the good pieces, too. Follow Jeanne's melancholy line of sight and see the area in question. Cookies, cakes, and other desserts are haphazardly arranged, with heaps of crumbs and overturned dishes decorating the scene. It's brutal. A scene of sugary carnage. But even smears of frosting along the counters, as if those who rushed for the treats didn't care how things were left. That's probably the case, come to think of it. I mean, high school kids, yeah, they don't give a crap. Wonder if they have any more soup tonight. Isolde breaks me out of my tangential thoughts. Her mentioning soup makes me realize how hungry I am. I'd really like to have some tomato soup, simple and creamy. I like soups that have lots of things in them, vegetables and noodles. Vegetables are good. Maybe I should have a salad if they have any left. The way she says "if" depresses both me and my stomach. Jeanne seems to feel the same way. Let's hope we can get something here tonight. Looking around, I can see why she's concerned. The students who are leaving the line have quite a lot on their plates. At the rate the line's moving, I may have to rely on that bag of crisps I have in my room after all. The two of them make idle talk while we wait, moving forward a few steps every so often. I answer when I'm spoken to, but I'm not paying too much attention. That changes and a gap in the line opens up, finally allowing us access to tonight's selection. Jeanne suddenly darts ahead, moving so quickly Isolde and I both flinch a little. She quickly fills a gap in the line and grabs her items, a bowl of salad followed by some hunks of bread. Despite the speed, she doesn't spill anything as she fills her tray. There she goes. She really likes food. You don't say. It's true. She says it's part of her French heritage, or something like that. Aren't you French, Isolde? She nods. I am, but I guess I'm not as French as Jeanne. Not when it comes to food. Pretty sure that's not how it works? Hey, you know what? Okay, this is a personal Snek story. One of the most annoying things, I hate this with a passion, this is a pet peeve of mine. I've gone out on dates, and usually first, second date kind of set up, and the lady opposite me will order a salad, and then she'll proceed to, like, peck at it the way a small bird pecks at a patch of grass. And then she'll be like, oh, I'm so full. It's like, no, you're not. That is not a human volume of food to eat. If you're not here to enjoy your food, what even is the point? I mean, the point is to get to know the person you're on a date with. But still, you can enjoy the food as well, and you should. So this is why I think Italian is a really great first date food, because you're guaranteed to get whatever you're wearing messy. And I think the way the other person reacts to that is really telling of their personality. Like, if they make a big deal about it, they're probably a stick in the mud. And if they're able to, like, make a joke about it or, like, have fun with it, like, knowing full well it's going to happen and they just kind of accept it, I think it shows not only a level of maturity, but it also shows that they can be fun even when the situation is less than ideal. The line shifts again. They're finally able to move forward. I grab a plate with baked potato, set it on my tray. Isolde does the same. She reaches ahead of me to grab a cluster of butter packets, taking nearly half the bowl. I raise my eyebrows at her. I like butter. Sage wisdom. I don't answer, just chuckle. After grabbing a few more things, the two of us head over to the table Jeanne has chosen. Isolde takes a seat next to her friend while I sit down opposite the pair. Glad to see you made it out alive. I thought Isolde and I were goners, though. Jeanne happily nods, chewing her much-needed food in the process. Isolde told me you're a bit of a food buff. Jeanne nods again and swallows her bite, washes it down with a swig of water. Yes, I guess it's really thanks to my parents, especially my father. He did most of the cooking. My mother was often too busy with her job. He probably loves food more than me. She looks like she's thinking for a moment. More than I love food. I mean. What about your parents, Eric? My parents, huh? Should have known this would probably come up eventually. It's a pretty common conversation topic. My dad works in finance, so he's the one who's always busy. Mom was the one always cooking. She often brought me stuff from home when I was in the hospital. I cut myself off a little too late, which makes Jeanne's eyes go wide in concern. Isolde looks a bit curious too, but doesn't say anything. Quickly, I try to backpedal to a safer point. It wasn't anything serious. She'd bring me stuff so I don't have to eat gross hospital food all the time. It's a huge cover-up, but I'd rather not talk about my hospitalization just yet. Wow, she must be quite the cook then. I'm not sure if Jeanne actually believes my story, or if she's playing along. Either way, it's a relief. I think Jeanne can read the room pretty well. The three of us come lost in our own thoughts for a while. I'm not sure about the other two, but I'm reminiscing about times and dinners long ago. The holidays really can't come soon enough. My mom's cooking something when December rolls around. Oh, definitely. The food here just isn't the same. I mean, it's good, but it's missing something. Spices, quality ingredients. I've actually been thinking something similar? Love? Sounds pretty sappy once I say it out loud, but Isolde seems pleased. Yes, that's it. The food doesn't have the same love that's in my mom's cooking. My dad usually tosses something extra into whatever he's cooking. Love has nothing to do with it. So generic tasting otherwise. They probably can't do that here, or the more sensitive students could get sick. Guess you're right. She sounds sort of huffy, not just over like she's been defeated in an argument. She was starting to get a little heated, too. Maybe this is what Isolde meant by her French heritage. Food must be a really big deal over there. Why don't you cook for yourself, Jeanne? There's a kitchenette in the dorms, after all. I would, but they don't have any ingredients. I don't have any ingredients with me. Plus, they get expensive after a while. There is truth to that. Doesn't Miss Week make a dish or two sometimes? She does. She's not too bad at it. How do you mention? I do believe she said she'd be cooking something for us later this week. Lucky. My floor supervisor's some old grump who hands out flyers and pamphlets. No free food on my floor. Honestly, wish I had Miss Week of my own. I said out loud since it seems like an appropriate time. Both of the girls nod. Yes, she's been very helpful. I transferred in and didn't know anyone yet. Miss Week introduced me to Jeanne. She was so nice. Feels like I've been backtracked a little into the conversation, but I don't mind, since I wasn't quite paying attention before. You're the only other one on the floor who is French, so I think we bonded quickly because of that. Yes, that and our mutual love of astronomy. Yes, I was so jealous of your telescope the first time you showed it to me. I let the two girls talk as I plan out the rest of my evening. I still have a chapter to read for my French course, 27 pages of France and its history, part 1. I have most of my maths homework done thanks to Jeanne, so I could probably finish that whenever I get back to my room. It's only 2 equations anyway. That'll leave me the rest of the evening reading that chapter, plus some free time afterward. Check my phone to see a text from Fran. Knowing them, they'll probably just want to copy my notes again. Eric? Her tone of voice implies that she's been trying to get my attention for a while. Sorry, what is it? We have to get back to our dorms. Okay, I'll see you two later then. Good night. Good night. Have a nice night. Bro, get out of your head. I say this about a lot of the VNs I play, like the main character is usually really flighty, and the thing that's really frustrating is not that they are, but because I am too. And so it's like, stop being like me. Stop making me reflect on myself. Jeez. Cafeteria slowly gets less crowded as students finish their meals and leave. Being back in my dorm is always relieving. Since my room is at the end of the hallway, not a lot of noise in the lobby makes it back, so it's easier to unwind and relax. But not too much. I still got a lot of work to do tonight. Somewhat resignedly, I hoist my backpack over to my desk and pull out my books and papers. You know, from here I can almost forget that I'm at school. I decided after dinner to go for an exploratory walk as a capstone to my eventful Saturday. I took my random pickup paths I hadn't checked out before, and it's paying off. This one led me to a clearing with a couple of benches, surrounded by trees and the sounds of nature. None of the main buildings are visible, nor does it seem to be a major throughway for students. If it weren't so dark and chilly, it'd be a good place to do homework. Today, though, the threat of the cold compels me to keep walking. Maybe this trail has some more hidden gems further in. That has some time to myself, anyway. I did a lot of socializing today, and the solitude is just what I needed to relax. No, you need a plus-sized French woman to help you relax. So it's going to be dead quiet in the middle of winter, and very pretty to look at. I'll have to come back in a month or two. I wonder how many other paths the school has for me to... Whoa! My thoughts are interrupted as I nearly trip over a red shape I hadn't noticed near ground level. I'm able to keep myself from falling over only by doing an awkward and uncoordinated dance in a half circle, flailing my arms and stomping on the path all the while. Once I regain my balance, I turn to see the shape resolve itself into a student, standing up from what I must have been in an almost completely prone position. She's holding a rock in one hand and a phone in the other, both hanging loosely at her sides. The red turns out to be a massive sweater she's buried herself in. She blinks at me once before looking off to my side. Her voice comes subdued and her hands move up to her shoulder blades, scrunching methodically. She's wearing an uncomfortable expression, so I hasten to make my apology. I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. Are you okay? Oh. Her hands squeeze a little slower. Yes, you didn't hit me. I'm not hurt. Oh, okay, good. Are you okay? Yeah, just barely managed to not fall over, so... Yes. She's still averting her eyes, and I'm beginning to gather that my nearly kicking her isn't the only reason she may be uncomfortable. I'm Eric, by the way. I'm a new transfer student. Hello. I'm Nell. Technically, I'm Eleanor, but I like Nell. Nell it is, then. Nice to meet you. Yes, you too. As much as Nell obviously wants me to go away, I feel a bit overcommitted to this conversation to stop right after we introduced ourselves. What's that you got there? The rock, I mean. Oh. She holds it out toward me and uses her phone screen to illuminate it gently. This is a smoky quartz. It glitters under the light, translucent and filled with gray splotches for which it's named. Is that why you were on the ground, to look at it? Yes. There's lots of quartz rocks at the school. I'd to come look at them sometimes. Oh, cool. Is there a reason there's lots of quartz rocks here? Yes, we're in the Vienna Basin. It's a sedimentary basin formed by a recent pull apart of two nearby faults. So we're standing on young sedimentary layers, and they tend to be quartz-rich. There are lots of quartz rocks here, like this one. Smoky quartz is less popular, but I don't think that's fair. It looks like rain clouds. It does, yeah. It's pretty. Yes. The opportunity to talk about rocks has relaxed Nell somewhat, and she smiles. I'm admittedly curious about this subject, so I decided to probe some more. I thought Vienna was on the edge of the Alps, though. Oh, yes. The Vienna Basin divides the Alps from the Carpathians further east. From the surface, it's a different geological feature that the Alps and Carpathians are connected by underground rock deeper beneath us. Sorry for the hesitation, everyone. My kitten jumped on me, and she desperately wanted to know what I was doing. So, Vienna is split between the Vienna Basin and the Alps. No. Vienna is in the Vienna Basin. The Alps are a little vague. You could say some parts extend into the basin. Vienna is in the Vienna Basin, and maybe some of the Alps are in the Vienna Basin also. But when people say Alps, they aren't thinking about the Vienna Basin part, they're thinking of the higher parts. Those parts are defined less by the Vienna Basin and more the collision of the African and Eurasian plates over millions of years. In many cases, the extreme pressure is caused by parts of the fault line to fold and thrust over each other. That's one reason the Alps look the way they do. The thrust creates sheets of rock over other sheets. The ones on top are called napes. Nell blinks at my interjection. I'm worried I might have upset her, but she just looks surprised. Yes. Most people don't know that. I'm glad you know that. Ha, I'm kind of into mountains myself. You study them. Well, a knot begins at the form of my stomach, but I power through it. Sort of. I climb them. Oh. I don't think I could climb mountains, but I think it's cool when people do. Have you climbed in the Alps before? The knot grows, my instincts tell me to flee. It'd be too awkward to walk away now. I have, yeah. Not the tallest peaks, but a few. I always wanted to explore the, Hohenzollern window, though. Nell nods, smiling again. A Finster, yes, that one's very popular. Lots of tall mountains. I don't know what to say to that. I found my eyes averting themselves. You should go to Großglockner, tallest mountain in Austria. Yes, it is the tallest mountain in Austria, and I had plans to climb it. Had. Nell just keeps talking, oblivious to the flushing on my face and sweat beading on my forehead. Only since 1919, but then you should probably do Ortler, too. Yes, I was planning on that. Was. Barrage of reminders of plans I might never be able to follow through with waves in my chest. Sometimes I think about doing climbs like those, but the idea is scary. Being so high up in the cold and wind, and I stumble against a tree and gasp for breath against the tightness in my throat. My periphery is darkening as Nell has finally noticed my predicament. As much as I wanted to control it, I couldn't. She stopped talking and tried to blank my mind and take the deep, steady breath I've been taught. It's impossible not to feel scrutinized by the only other person here, even though I'm sure she isn't judging me. The awareness threatens to close what little space it feels like there's left in my airway. I grasp at the bark against my back, bidding the grooves and wrinkles to ground me. I don't think it's working. Much as I want to, it's not. My favorite mineral is turquoise. Some people think it's a boring choice, but that's okay. There are plenty of scientifically fascinating minerals out there, but that doesn't have to make them my favorite. Nell's trying to distract me. I need whatever lifeline I can get, so I focus my attention on her voice, even though it sounds like it's coming from the end of a long hallway. Have you ever held a piece of polished turquoise? I can tell the question's rhetorical because she moves on without pause. I don't think I could describe the color of it. I don't think anyone can describe the color. That's why they have to use the name of the mineral instead, in both German and in English. But that's okay. I want you to imagine the sunny sky. Nell's direct address startles me. It's a good sign that I have enough awareness to be startled. Are you doing it? This time it's not rhetorical. It takes all the control I have, but I do it with a small nod. Good. It's going to be blue. Imagine a sky that's even more like the sky than the real sky. If you take the color of our usual sky and you distilled it in a magical machine and you made the most ideal version of that color, more like the sky than the sky, that's turquoise. Can you see it? Mm-hmm. Some people don't understand what I see in rocks and metals and mountains. All the stuff down below, I think it's like tunnel vision. Was that a pun? But I think they haven't really paid attention. When I look at a piece of turquoise, I see the sky. That's why it's my favorite. There's still a weight on my chest, my legs threaten to give way. The world has stopped spinning, and I can finally look at Nell again. I'd like to see that for myself one day. You should. I have some. I can show you sometime. I think that'd be nice. I seem to avert disaster this time, with Nell's help. The change has given me a sense of deja vu, though. Katja bailed me out of a similar mess the morning I ran into her. She said something too, just as my panic was mounting. Goodness, do I know somebody you'll get along with just fine. At the time, I wasn't sure what she meant by that, but I just met someone who rivals my ability to ramble about mountains. And there can't be too many of us at the school this size. Nell. Hmm? You wouldn't happen to know a student named Katya, would you? Pressing her finger into her palms, Nell nods. I know Katya, yes. She's my best friend. Ah. Nell hesitates in deliberation, eyes darting around me. It's obvious she's trying to be careful about after what just nearly happened. Do you know Katya? A little, yeah. I met her earlier this week. We talked a couple times. Are you friends? Nell's question gives me pause, and I know I'm not sure how to answer it. I don't want to make assumptions on Katya's behalf either way. Sometimes ambiguity is the best middle road. Something like that, yeah? Big as it is, my answer appears to satisfy Nell. Good. Friends are good. She looks at the quartz in her hand again, then pockets it somewhere in the voluminous folds of her sweater. She doesn't seem to have any plans of bringing up my episode, and I'm eager to move past it myself. Maybe another time. So, do you like to collect rocks? Sometimes, I already have so many. That's why I'll show this one to Kat. She always has fun with them. Kat, is that another student? No, Kat is my cat. Oh, Kat is short for Catherine? Nell frowns and purses her lips. Kat is long for cat. Your cat is named Kat. Yes, is that a bad name? Guess not. Never heard of a cat named Kat. She nods approvingly. Yes. Everybody expects Catherine or Katie or something like that. Nobody ever expects Kat. Isn't that fun? Ah, I guess so. Does that mean you name your cat as a joke? No, that'd be mean. To be honest, it was just what came to mind when I had to pick. I usually get more creative with names, but it turned out to be a fun choice. That's fair enough. Yes. Nell's empty hand returns to her shoulders, stretching and squeezing. Though she was more relaxed during the mountain talk, she looks a bit uncomfortable again. We've been talking for a while, so I wouldn't blame her for feeling this conversation with a stranger has arrived at its natural end. I hope I'm not keeping you, by the way. No, yes, maybe a little? That's the kind of answer someone gives when they want you to go away, but they're too polite to say so. I should probably get going myself. It's pretty chilly just standing here. It is. Get somewhere warm. Someone warm. I will. It's good meeting you, Nell. You too. We'll probably meet again. Eric, last name, Wilhelm. Is that name short for something? No, it's long for Wilhelm. Good. I'll see you later. Yeah, Nell? Thanks. Sorry. It's okay. Thanks. See ya. Bye-bye. I head off, and Nell proceeds down the path in the opposite direction. Seems to walked it up at least one surprise for me. It's rare these days that I get to nerd out like that. Even less so when someone nerds out with me. It keeps me from passing out from panic. I'll have to make sure I don't trip over her next time, though. That isn't awkward, but maybe not the worst way of meeting someone for the first time. I wake out of the dead sleep with the sound of my phone vibrating. It reverberates through the wood of my desk where I sat at last night, and the sound feels like an earthquake inside my skull. Ugh. Phone's in my hand before I know it, and I'm trying to peel my eyes open to see what it says. It's Ella. Hey, Eric, are you awake? My mother always told me it was wrong to lie. I fumbled around with the keys until I'd written the reply. I am now. Comes back about after half a minute later as I'm beginning to drift off to sleep again. Awesome, let's hang out. Can I come over? It's almost 10 o'clock. I should be up already, so why not? Sitting up in bed, I blink the sleep away and text back one more time telling her to give me 10 minutes or so. I've only just come back from brushing my teeth when I hear the knock on the door. One sec. One last tug of my trousers are on, pull a nice blue and white button down out of the closet and open the door, still working on the buttons. Hi! I step aside to let her in the heavy plastic shopping bag she's carrying. Hey Ella, what's up? I haven't talked to you in a few days. Want to go for a walk? I brought food. Yeah, sure. I take one step toward the door and realize I'm still in my socks. Oh. While I'm lifting up my shoes, Ella starts their questions. Can't say I didn't see them coming. Did you look into any of the clubs I mentioned? I meant to, just haven't had time. Still plenty of time. Yeah, maybe once I've settled in a bit more. Whenever that is. Ella seems intent on getting outside as soon as possible. When I'm done with my shoes, she drags me out the door and down the hallway. Wait, do I need my jacket? It didn't even occur to me. Then again, Ella's not wearing one. Oh no, it's gorgeous out today. Warmer than it's been all week. Figures, one day we don't have to walk to class. Sure enough, plenty warm enough to be outside without any extra layers. The sun is sparkling on wet grass and only a few cottony clouds atop the sky. What did I tell you? Taking the fresh air and lift my face up to warm in the sunlight. Wow. It's picnic weather. Where are we headed? To the lake. Where else would you have a picnic? This seems a little, overly familiar, don't you think? Except one of the picnic tables in the grassy clearing by St. Dimta's Pond. Our feet are soaked with dew by the time we get there. Sun's high enough now to fill the clearing and light up the surface of the pond, but it obviously hasn't been for long. It's almost chilly, cooler here than in the wider courtyards and walkways of the school, where the sunlight has been resting all morning. I look around at the handful of students who've had the same idea as Ella, wondering if I'll see someone I recognize. Several groups and couples, some seated around the tables and others on top of a big sheet they lit on the grass. But no, nobody I know. When I look back at Ella, she's already got the table all set. 2 cups of foamy white liquid and plastic containers of food I don't know the name of. What do you think? She gestures at the table and grins adorably. Rice and chicken. Tavuk pilaf, street food where I come from. You mean Turkey, right? Yep. I wasn't sure if it was impolite to ask, but I can tell by the accent you didn't grow up in Austria. Yeah. So what's this? Ella's eyes follow my pointing finger to the cup sitting on the table, and she smiles even wider. It's called... Aaron? Aaron? I'm not sure how you say that. It's a little weird, but I hope you like it. Take a sip of the... It's salty? Yeah, that's what I mean. But it's not bad. You think so. Glad you like it. Can't quite say I like it, but the food proves me much more to my liking. We dig into the individual containers to talk about school. Conversation eventually turns to the festival coming up next week. So, about Ernst Dankfest. I'm finishing up the last of the pilaf when she changes the subject. I maybe need a little help. I knew this meal came at a price. What? No. I really did want to hang out with you. I'm just kidding, Ella. What do you need? She takes a moment to lower back into her seat and get her feathers unruffled. The school does sort of open house for parents, relatives, potential donors. Sorry, I didn't tell you earlier. You probably wanted your family to come visit. I hope it's not too late to tell them about it. My sister should be free next week. It wouldn't hurt to invite them over since I didn't get to take a look at the school when we first came here. I'll give them a call tonight. Awesome. Anyway, I'm in charge of organizing the group who's making up all the decorations and stuff for the open house. We're a little understaffed, and you could use an extra pair of hands. More than just one, really. Do you have time next week? We meet up after class. That face is hard to say no to. Yeah, I can help out. Leaps up from the bench and skips over to the side to give me a hug. Thanks, Eric. I knew I could count on you. Don't suppose you know anyone else who could be up for it. Any girls you've met? I've met my fair share of girls here, but I don't think I have the necessary charm to convince any of them to give up their afternoons for a week. Not really sure how that trick worked on me just now, honestly. It's a great chance. You know, if there's anyone you met you'd like to spend some more time with for the whole week leading up to the first day of the festival. As her eyes grow narrower, her smile devilishly curls up. Maybe score a date to the gala. I know a lot of girls would kill for a date. I can't take that look anymore. It's almost as bad as Irene. Okay, I get it. I throw up my hands in defeat. Got anyone in mind? Alright, let's save. Everyone knows my answer. Have you talked to Jeanne and Isolde? Those girls are as reliable as they come. Huh. Something about practicality, even after Ella's obvious nudge toward the romance angle. What kind of man am I? Practical one. Nothing wrong with that, dude. Isolde's working with me already, actually, but I haven't asked Jeanne. She'd be great help if we can pull her away from her books. Not sure when I'll see her next, though. Don't worry about it. I'll have Isolde talk to Jeanne. I'm sure Jeanne would like to come to see you, though. She's yet another knowing smile. What kind of secrets does this girl keep? Got your mission, and I've got mine. Any questions? I got it. I'll let you know when I've asked. Great. Thank you so much for helping, Eric. I really appreciate it. Ella picks up her makeshift picnic spread in one smooth, careful motion. I have to get going now, but I'll talk to you later. See ya. I hope Ella's had better luck with the Isolde than I'm having with Jeanne. Since she's not in any of her usual spots, I guess it's best just to go back. At least the way it won't seem like I ran out on Ella, too. So I make my way back, it seems like practically every other individual on campus is also working on festival preparations. I already have an apology for Ella prepared as I finally arrive at her classroom and make my way back inside. Hey, sorry I wasn't Oh, Eric, there you are. I'm immediately taken aback by a wide-eyed Jeanne staring up at me. We're starting to wonder what had happened to you. Her and Isolde are kneeling on the ground with a large roll of paper spread between them. Ella's on the other side, diligently filling in some giant letter blocks. Block letters, durr. I just suggested that we should go out looking for you. Isolde quietly chimes in without looking up, and I can't hold back my smile at the silliness of the situation. This certainly is convenient. We probably would have run into each other. I was actually just trying to find you, Jeanne. Jeanne sits up from the letter A she's currently writing in. Oh, what did you need? I was going to see if you had some time to help out. Looks like you're already way ahead of me, though. Yes, Ella found us in the library and brought us back here. We're supposed to help out at the astronomy club's booth, too, but they said we can do that tomorrow. Library, huh? Figures that Ella would have found them together. I didn't expect them to be studying immediately after class, though. I'm not surprised either. Dropping my bag on an empty desk, I pace around to see what they've been working on. My guess is Jeanne writing Academy, since she now has the first 2 letters inked in. Ella colors it from the other side and with a dark marker. On another sheet, Isolde has begun penciling out outline of a giant bird. What's this for? It's for the club.
She finishes some detail on the wing, then looks up at me. Why are you drawing a bird? Ella asks me to decorate however I wanted. Ella nods. Yep, and I think it's shaping up quite nicely. Can't argue with that, as well as put a good amount of detail into her drawing. Once it comes time to color it, it might be a bit messier, but for now it looks good, even if it's a bit random for a culture festival. Yeah, it's looking great so far. Is there anything I can do to help out? Ella moves over a little bit. Here, help me fill in these letters. She pushes a bucket of markers towards me as I take a spot on the floor. I grab a shade of blue that looks close to what she has and start on the letter C. Where will these be going? I'm not sure. The tutor just asked me to work on some banners to hang around campus, so we're trying to keep them kind of generic. Right now, we're just making some with the school's name and one or two decorative ones. Sort of banners that can go in any room and look okay. I said Jeanne always moves her hand a little bit when she snaps her fingers, so as to not disrupt the paper. I don't know if she can tell if it's about to happen and react, or if it's just a reflex. What color red should I use for its chest? The bird Isolde was sketching is already finished. It looks as if it's ready to fly off the paper. Ella digs at the bucket, taking out and setting aside markers in different shades of red. She touches each of them in turn, then chooses one that's a little on the orange side. This one feels nice. Isolde nods and takes the marker. She holds onto the cap in her free hand as she begins to color with the other. First, she outlines the bird's chest with a dark, thick line. Then she lightly begins to fill in the rest of it. As she colors, I notice her glance over at Ella and I. She seems to be watching how Ella shades in the letters because she adjusts her manner of coloring to match. When she catches me looking, she quickly looks back down at her own drawing. Rather than betray her secret, I just smile and keep shading. For the most part, the four of us work quietly. With Jeanne and Ella in one room, I would have expected to be full of chit-chat, but instead they just seem just as diligently as Isolde. Seems they're taking this festival as seriously as everyone else I've seen. I feel kind of bad that I can't do much help besides help color. I lack artistic talent the others have. I'm pretty sure Ella could do more too, but maybe she doesn't want to show me up. This marker's dried out. Is there another one like this? Isolde holds up the marker in question. On her drawing is a point where the color becomes faded and dim, and then eventually stops completely. Let me check. Box of markers rattles as she shakes it, since she put the reds back in. Ella sifts through, turning them to check the name written on the side. It seems Isolde's out of luck because Ella sets the box back down and frowns. Doesn't look like it. You want me to go out and ask another group if they have that color? Isolde shakes her head. No, that's all right. Her tone of voice says that it isn't all right, as does her posture. She harshly throws the now-defunct marker in the direction of the trash can, only to have it bounce off the wall and onto the floor. What if you use a slightly different one to blend with some of the color that's there? Maybe it would look cool, like feathers. Ever the mediator, Ella tries to suggest a solution. Isolde just frowns, pursing her lips hard. Jeanne has now stopped what she's doing and looks to be patiently waiting for an opportunity to interject. Alright, I guess I'll try that. From the way Jeanne and Ella react, it seems as if we just dodged some sort of bullet. Jeanne smiles as she goes back into her writing. Ella grins as she's looking through the markers again. How about this one? The color she's chosen is a bit lighter than the other. Isolde looks hesitant, but eventually takes it. She feels in one of the corners of the bird's chest where she hadn't reached before. As she finishes the section, she suddenly smiles. It looks really good. Ella claps her hands. All right, there are a couple more of that one in the box, so don't worry about it running out. The other girl doesn't seem to be listening. She just nods as she eagerly fills in the spots that need it. Suddenly, a sharp pain jabs me in the side. Stop slacking off over there. I have the spot where she poked me. I wasn't slacking. I was just taking a break. From what? You got the easiest job here. Hey, you got the same job that I do. Sure, but you don't see me complaining about it. Damn, I don't have a comeback for that one. Yeah. It's true that I was spending more time watching the others work than making my own progress. I start coloring more quickly to make up for last time. Careful, Eric. If you go too fast, your lines will look sloppy, or you might go outside the edges. First I'm too slow, and now I'm too fast. Give me a break, will ya? You were just taking one, that's the problem. Jeanne and Ella both laugh. She's got you there. I sigh, conceding defeat. Okay, I'll be more careful next time. Promise? I promise. She gives a very satisfied-looking nod. Good. Kind of playful banter is nice. It's good to have friends to tease and be teased by. I like how this group is able to have fun while still being productive. I'm still kind of a bit of the weak link here. Arts and crafts were never my forte. Almost to prove my point, Jeanne caps her pen and sets it aside. All right, I'm finished. She's written the name of the school in elegant block letters. What should I work on next? She's already moving on to the next task? My hands are getting sore just thinking about filling in all those letters. You cut out those letters over there. I just lined them out. Eric will take care of them. Sure. She takes a stack of letters and places them down on a nearby desk. Then she goes over to the pile of unused scissors and picks out a pair. Gingerly, she holds the scissors in her right hand as she makes her way back to the table, eyes firmly locked onto them. I try to avoid staring at her, but I can't help but be curious about the whole affair. It's almost like she doesn't want to drop them. I mean, you can't put it together, dude? I pretty much already parsed what's happened.
Jeanne starts to cut the paper, making very small cuts as she keeps the scissors steady in her hand. Jeanne, need some help with those? Jeanne fidgets a little, the first I've ever really seen her do. She quickly regains her composure, facing Ella. No, it's fine. I can do it. Okay, making sure. The equal amounts of caution as before, Jeanne resumes cutting out the letters. She carefully checks and double-checks the position of the scissors in relation to her fingers. Oh god, that hurts me just thinking about. Eventually she finishes a small stack of them and comes over to me for coloring. Here you go. Thanks, I'll get to work. Jeanne finishes their stack not long after, leaving me with a steady stream of letters to color and arrange on the banner. As we're lulling our latest conversation about the gala, Ella stands up and stretches her arms. I think it's it for the day. Dinner, anyone? Jeanne raises her hand immediately. Sounds good. Dinner should be starting soon anyway. I'm all for it. Great, let's clean this up and get going. We'll at least stack all of our supplies and put them into the back of the room. What's left? Got a large chunk of the hard stuff done today, so the rest probably won't be so bad. Coloring, arranging the rest of the decorations, and finally, setting them up in the field house. That doesn't seem so bad. The four of us, we should do just fine, right? Definitely. We make our way to the cafeteria, chatting about the next day's plans. Dude, Ella is literally trying to be your wingman here. Like, read the room the tiniest bit, hero. Day one of preparations went by pretty quickly, but the second day is proving much slower than normal. Lectures are listened to, homework is assigned, the usual. As the final bell tolls, I make a beeline towards the room where Ella is. A change in pace from an otherwise boring day could be nice. There seem to be even more students that are preparing for the festival today. More banners and streamers are being hung up in windows, ceilings, and anything that resembles a flat surface. Groups of students litter the hallway in front of all kinds of colored boards, and all of them seem to be chattering enthusiastically over the coming event. Many other students are now quickly passing by, rushing with an intensity matched only by consistent glances to make sure no teacher would stop them. Some have intense looks on their faces, but most are beaming brightly, rushing through with all kinds of paper rolls, buckets of streamers, and more markers than I could count. Someone I think I vaguely recognize waves to me through the waves of color, and I wave uncertainly, I think, back over my shoulder. Either way, I still have a strong smile on my face. The entire atmosphere is contagious. It's exciting to see everyone working hard for something, especially something that I'm now involved in too. It's taken me a while, but I think I'm getting used to the idea of St. Dymphna being more familiar. At the very least, the school wasn't the padded walls and straitjackets kind of school like I thought it would be. Those are sanitariums, and they aren't allowed anymore. Ella's standing outside the entrance to the room we were working the other day. Noticing my approach, she waves for me to hurry inside. Good afternoon, Eric. Did you have a good day today? I shrug. Despite the festive atmosphere, Ella's comment grounds me in reality ever so slightly. It was alright. Usual lectures and homework. What are we doing today? I noticed Jeanne and Isolde working on a different poster than the one we worked on the other day. This one was a bunch of white cutout stars glued haphazardly on a black sheet of paper. Glitter and other decorative additions accompany the poster with the headline St. Dymphna Astronomy Club 2013, topping the work with each letter resembling something space-related. Even the Astronomy Club poster finished up today. The club did a lot of work the other day, so we're putting the finishing touches on it now. Isolde is quietly clipping out another star from the sheet of white paper. She carefully closes the scissors over it, freeing the shape. Smiling, she sets it down in a small pile. 3 more stars should do it, Isolde. Isolde nods, having already started cutting the paper again. She repeats her careful motions with determined perseverance, almost as if the star is destined to save the world. Kinda makes me want to get involved. What should I do? Need me to do anything? Well, while the girls are working on their poster, do you want to set up these streamers? I need them set up in the hallway. Okay, sure. Where should I hang them from? It shouldn't get in the way of the students. Seem to hang them from the windows or hallways. She's handing you several large rolls of brightly colored streamer paper and some tape to attach it to the window. You also need a stepladder so you can reach the top. That's a bad idea, Ella. The room next door is borrowing one, so go ahead and ask to use it. Got everything? Looks like it. I'll be back then. Heading outside of the room, I note where I need to place the streamers. Estella said the places where I need to reach are too high, so I head next door to grab the ladder. Seeing that the door which holds it is unlocked, I enter. Students in there, all part of the literature club, let me take the ladder with little fanfare. Looks like they're quite busy with their own preparations. Carefully balancing the stepladder and rolls of streamers, I set up my makeshift workspace in the hallway. I roll out the streamers and quickly get to hang the paper from the walls. I decided to get creative. Crossing 2 colors in front of the window looks good, I declare. Some purple with yellow looks good. Why not some more red over here? Finally, I finish, returning the stepladder to the literature club's room. I think the students there again as I head back to the girls next door. I fully expected you to fall off the ladder, I'll be honest, Eric. As I enter, I see Jeanne and Isolde huddled over the poster, slowly examining it. Great timing, Eric. We just finished up the poster. The Astronomy Club poster now includes the stars that Isolde so carefully cut out, and they seem to have added some information to the poster explaining who they are and what they do as a club. All in all, nice piece. Where's the poster we were working on yesterday, Ella? Should be under the table behind you. Jeanne squats down and reaches carefully under the table, eventually pulling out our poster, complete with our carefully colored letters and Isola's bird drawings. Where are the markers? Should be on that table. Ella points to the table next to Isola. She realizes there are no such markers on there. Shoot, I guess another group borrowed them. She turns to me again, hands clasped together. Would you willing to help us again, Eric? Do I have a choice? But you do, but you wouldn't want to make us upset, would you? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, so they say. I raise my arms in mock defeat. Sure, I'll get them. Any ideas where they could be? I think one of the supervisors takes them at the end of the day, so it's probably with one of them. I think Hertha might have that box in her office. That's right, Miss Week would probably have them. Where do I go to get them? I'll take you to her office, Eric. Isolde, do you want to come with us? I want to get started on some new sketches. I'll stay here. True to her word, Isolde's already pulling out her pencils from her book bag, starting a new bird drawing on one of the pieces of paper lying around. Okay then, we'll be back soon. Yes, finally alone. I worked hard this update for this. Jeanne takes the lead, guiding it back to the hallways until we reach the faculty offices. At the end of the hallway, I can hear a woman's voice, presumably Miss Week, on the phone. As we approach, her voice becomes clearer. Yes, I ordered them the other day, just like you asked. They'll be here soon. Jeanne lightly raps on the door open, getting the woman's attention. Hello, Jeanne and Eric. What brings you two here? You wouldn't happen to have a box of markers in here, do you, Hertha? Miss Week thinks for a bit, then beams as she remembers. As a matter of fact, I do. I had a student give them to me last night. She goes into a small locker, pulling out a plastic box filled with the brim with colorful markers. Jeanne tentatively sifts through them, looking at various markers labeled hot magenta and neon apple. Is there a need for such exotic colors? It seems to satisfy Jeanne's taste, though, as she eagerly closes up the box. These will be perfect, thanks. Just be sure to give them back when you're done, please. Jeanne loads the box into my arms. We both say our goodbyes and head back to Ella and Isolde, idly chattering about our week so far. Eric, I mean to ask you, have you been keeping up with your studies? As best as I can muster, your notes make it much easier, though. Jeanne gives me a cheerful smile, obviously proud that I've actually been doing schoolwork. As opposed to just copying her notes, that is. Great, let me know if you need any more help. Now she's brought it up, there's been something I've been meaning to ask. How'd you get roped into tutoring other students, anyway? Miss Clace has asked around to see if students were willing to tutor other after school. I had a lot of free time after classes, and I wanted to help other students, so I answered the call, and here I am. I have to admit, tutoring other students is not very high on my to-do list. For Jeanne, however, this seems to be right up her alley. What's it like? How many students are you helping out? I tutor in groups of 1 to 3 people, so about 10 or so people a week, including you and Isolde. Isolde and I are the only ones she's been helping. Makes sense. We meet in the library or in an empty classroom, where everybody gets help on their homework. Usually the students have the same subject, so they can all collaborate if I'm busy with someone else. Which subjects? Science and math, like Isolde and myself? Yes, since I'm good at both subjects, Miss Clace said to keep my focus on those while tutoring. I do fine in other subjects, but nowhere near my abilities and knowledge in physics, chemistry, or calculus. Jeanne puts on a little more emphasis in those last 3 subjects. Can't help but sense an air of pride in those words, too. In a way, this helps me sharpen my skills in those courses, since I'm applying my knowledge to help out those other students. Sounds like you got things under control. Suppose you could say that. Some of the students could use some more motivation, though. Lots of them weren't there by choice. Either their therapist or one of their teachers has them come to me or another tutor for after-school assistance. Guess not anyone's too excited having to actually do their homework, I suppose. I can sympathize with their problems, though. How so? There's a large variety of students here. Most here to finish their education, but there are plenty who aren't here so academically inclined. It's an unspoken truth of this place, sad to say. I nod. With the endless variety of students in this school, I'm sure there's plenty of students who aren't happy here. Certainly there are some who'd rather be stuck at home. I used to think that way at first, but thanks to people like Jeanne, I think things are getting a lot better. Don't worry, I think that you'll do just fine here. Of course, after all, I've made a few friends so far, and that's been a good feeling. That's good to hear. Around the corner, spot the room where we left Ella and Isolde. Hopefully they weren't waiting for too long. On cue, Ella opens the door, having seen us through the window. What took you? Were we gone that long? Ella puts on a big grin. No, just thought I'd tease the two of you. I set the box on the nearest table. Isolde quickly scurries over and sifts through it, plucking several colors seemingly at random. A few light browns, a few shades of red and orange here and there. Isolde finally finishes with her selections. Jeanne and I pick out our choices of color, and we continue where we left off from the other day. It doesn't take too long to finish up our banner through the open house. Isolde has decorated the banner with her trademark birds, and Jeanne and I have made some fantastic lettering, in my opinion. Ella gleefully claps her hands together, impressed with seeing the fruits of our labor. Wow, this looks great, everyone. Used up a lot of markers, though. Jeanne looks to a small pile of markers we set aside in the corner of the room. Either they bled too much of other colors, or they ran dry during the course of our endeavors. I silently salute those brave markers. Their sacrifices were not in vain. So is there anything else we need to do? Not really much for you guys to do today. We're almost done, though. Is there really anything else we have to do? We've reached a good stopping point in our preparations either way, so I guess this is fine. What's left? Not much. I have to go over a few things with the other event organizers today, so I'll have our final task ready by tomorrow. But for now, you guys can head to dinner. As if on cue, the chapel bell rings for dinner. Did she time this, I wonder? See ya. Knowing Ella, I could see that. Another morning, another day of classes ahead of me, followed by an afternoon of preparing for the gala. The hallway is surprisingly empty. Checking my phone, I realize how late I am. It's almost silent, except for the scratching of markers on paper and the occasional cough or sigh. None of us say anything. We've been reduced to banner-making machines. We're more efficient than an assembly line. God only knows how long we spent in the small classroom. I'm not sure I'd want to know. I sold the caps a pen and set it aside. Another bird completed. I'm beyond the point of wondering about their relevance, but at least they look nice. Jeanne dutifully scratches generic welcome messages onto the paper. Her sheet of translations is mostly unnecessary by now, having memorized all the greetings she'll need. Ella marks up pages upon pages of something. I'm not sure what it is she's handling, but judging by that frown on her face and the amount of paper it takes up, I'm guessing it's official business. It seems we've all traded our souls for festival productivity. At least, that's how it feels. I sit back on my heels and stretch my fingers, sore from coloring. Are you alright, Eric? Yeah, just taking a break. Break sounds nice, I admit. Agreed. We all looked at Ella plaintively. Oh, you guys, for goodness sake. She sounds more bemused than annoyed. You're using the wrong word. Alright, this is Snek Gets to Be a Pedant.101. Your instructor is the Hipster Snek. Bemused means mad or annoyed. You mean amused, as in to find, merriment or entertainment out of a situation. It's... You're saying, she sounds more annoyed than annoyed. You're like a bunch of puppies or something. I saw the frown at the comparison, but doesn't say anything. Ella seems to note the look and clarifies. I just mean that when you all look so sad like that, I have a hard time saying no. Jeanne, how many more of these blank banners are left? Jeanne thumbs through the large sheets, which makes a heavy ripping sound. 5, plus the one that we're working on now. 5, huh? The voice trails off, and Ella takes on a dreamy look, seeing something that we can't. Let's just call it good for today, then. We can finish up those 5 tomorrow. She grins with a look of relief that all 3 of us share. Even Ella's starting to get worn out, though she'd never admit it. How about we grab an early dinner and then go eat outside? The weather's nice, so we could even go out near the trail and enjoy a little bit of nature. The other 2 girls raise their eyebrows, but then Isolde frowns. Ella glances at her, patiently waiting for Isolde to say whatever it is. Isn't that, against the rules? Ella thinks for a moment, then shrugs. Probably, but I think we deserve an exception, don't you? Even Jeanne smiles at this, and we all agree. Rule-breaking with Ella seems like it might be easier to get away with. We might get caught being on the trail so close to sundown, but I can't imagine a teacher who wouldn't let something like that slide for Ella's sake. Plus, eating outdoors sounds like a nice change in pace. We begin to clean up. We've only been working for a few days, but I realize the time spent was nice. Having sat at the same monotonous task with these 3, I feel like we're a bit closer. My introspective musings are cut short by Ella slamming the last box shut. That's that! She ushers us out of the classroom and locks the door behind her. It's an impressive number of keys in that chain that she then pockets. It looks like she could get into most of the rooms on campus. I'm going to have to remember that little detail later. So we head over to the cafeteria. The 4 of us all fall into typical positions. Ella and I next to each other in front with Jeanne and Isolde a couple steps back. I think it's mostly Isolde who dictates that pace because she always moves pretty slowly. Jeanne doesn't seem to mind. The cafeteria is as chaotic as usual during dinner hours since it's so close to the gala. There's a few special food items available, making our early arrival quite fortuitous. It doesn't take us long for us to get what we want to eat and head outdoors to our destination. Ah, there's a spot for us. Ella motions to an extra-wide bench on the trail that we can all sit on. Great. Let's take a seat on the bench as we all chat about the work we managed to accomplish this week. I mean to ask this, but have you guys been to the gala in previous years? I've been going ever since I came here. This year's my first year I'm actually in charge of planning and coordinating things. I went for the first time last year with Isolde just to say that we went. It was okay. I think we got more fun now that there's some more people we're familiar with. The 4 of us can go together. I'd like that. Ella's eyes light up at that idea. It's a wonderful idea, Isolde. I'll get to enjoy the decorations and posters we've set up, as well as having an evening of fun. Sounds good to me. Be a nice change of pace for sure. Gosh, you make it sound like I was working you to the bone today. Wasn't that bad, right? Right? Well, I'd like to add more help from the rest of the student council. Come to think of it, Ella did say there were other members, but we never saw them at all. What gives? I'm sorry, the rest of the council needed for the outdoor decorations, and well... Ella, didn't you have the same problem last year? Ella doesn't say anything, but the blush creeping up on her face tells all. Yeah, I guess I did. Ella... I guess this isn't a new thing. I know, I really need to take on less work. You make yourself sick if you keep this up. Please be careful. I think this is the last major event I'll be doing at this school. I can safely put this entire thing behind me after this weekend. I think we can help with that, right? I think so. I'll do what I can. Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate the help. You can continue our chat long after the sun sets, until we decide to head back to the dorms for the night. Half an hour or so into blankly staring at my computer screen, a beeping sound tears me away. My phone. Where did I put my phone? A few seconds of scrambling around the room, it dawns on me. I reach into the pocket of the trousers I changed out of an hour ago. It's Beatrice. Hello. Eric, hey. What's up? So Hilda's making me call you to let you know we're coming down for the open house this weekend. Mom and Dad can't make it. I'm pretty sure they already told you that. Are you okay with Hilda and I being your parents for the day? They'll be none the wiser, I'm sure. She laughs. Great, we'll be there. Sunday? What time are we getting there? I hear a voice in the background, but I assume it's probably Hilda answering Beatrice's question. We should be there late in the afternoon, probably closer to dinner. Okay. Great, see you then. Hilda speaks up in the background, but I can't make out what she says. Right, how are you doing? This week was pretty good, actually. Described for a little while how classes have been, how I've gotten used to the campus, and new friends I've managed to make. It's also plenty I'd leave out for now, stuff that feels like it ought to be talked about in person, or maybe not at all. Like when you got your butt thrown across the freaking campus. Honestly, I feel glad that somebody from my family's coming. I fear that my parents wouldn't be able to make it. While disappointing, Dad's been extremely busy as of late. Besides, I didn't get to hang out with my sisters in Vienna when I first came to visit, so this will be a nice change of pace. Okay, we'll see you this weekend. Can't wait to see you, Eric. Same here, I look forward to it. Okay, good night. She hangs up, letting me get back to my idle internet browsing. An important task, to be sure. Thursday rolls around. Final day of prep for the festival. A younger, more foolish me had promised to help Ella with her workload. That Eric is dead to me now. In front of us is a mound of decorations large enough for several far more legitimate holidays, arranged in a semi-organized manner that only serves to make it somehow more intimidating. This is my favorite part. Getting to see all our hard work come together is what makes it all worth it. Ella gazes at the assorted piles of decorations and advertisements like a kid let loose on Christmas. It's a shame Jeanne couldn't help out today, but I'm confident we can get the rest done just fine. I sold tonight to see more work, but at least it's the last of it. So we just need to put all the stuff up, right? Is this all of it? No, just the new stuff. We keep some of last year's decorations in storage, so we're going to need to grab them before we get started. There's more? How big is this gala? Bigger than last year. Come on, I'm going to need a hand moving it all. I groan. It's going to be a bigger pain than I had expected. Minutes later, Ella had roped a security guard into accompanying us on our mission, twirling around his finger the most old-timey keyring I've ever seen. A huge metal loop, big enough to fit around his wrist, jangling with rusty keys from long before any of us were born. Fishing through them for what feels like an eternity finally unlocks a door that probably hasn't seen use since last year, and a fluorescent light flickers on to life above a scattered assortment of old equipment and cardboard boxes. Ella wastes no time in dragging a few of the boxes to the door for Isolde and I to carry, explaining all the while. Of course, this isn't just about the students, you know. A lot of families and acquaintances will be there visiting, and it's important to show them that the students of St. Dymphna are living normal, healthy lives here. Not sure how I feel about my life being used as an advertisement. I glanced at Isolde for her reaction, but she's as hard to read as ever. Which is just one reason why it's so important to make this as great as it can be. Besides, these are exactly the kind of school memories I want everyone to leave here with, you know? The kind I like, anyway. It takes a little doing, but at the end of the week, you're left with an experience you'll never forget. Like a reward for all our hard work. There's not much to say in the face of this kind of fanaticism, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't envy her enthusiasm a little. Ella has a spring in her step, and within minutes, half a dozen boxes of banners, posters, fabric, and paper ornaments are stacked before us. That should be everything. Now all I have to do is bring this back and put it all up, and it'll be finished. By tonight? That seems ambitious. Considering she admitted the other day that there was a distinct lack of extra hands, it's a tall order for sure. Ella smiles unchanged, but her eyes offer an apology. Well, yes, but doable, I promise. Are you expecting any more help? Are you sure the student council can't spare a few people? Ella has a box off the floor, taking a moment to answer. Isolde and I follow suit and begin hauling our cargo back to where we came. Yes, technically, but in practice I kind of ended up spearheading the indoor decorations by myself. After all, they did put together practically all the outdoor components. What about faculty? Strictly speaking, the gala only officially takes place in the main hall and courtyard, which have been finished. I'm sort of in charge of everything outside of that. Isn't that most of the school? Got the last one. Yeah. You really gotta work on your perception, Eric. I'm not even trying to be stealthy here. At some point, Irene had gotten behind our little group, and true enough, carrying a stack of 2 boxes, craning her head around the side to see where she was going. Irene, it's always nice to see you. I think there's more than one way of interpreting that. Heard you guys were drowning, so I figured I'd throw you a rope. I wouldn't say drowning. Irene shoves the 2 boxes she was carrying on top of the other already in my arms before hefting a different box larger than the last 2 together. She's either incredibly strong for her size or the box is full of streamers. Both seem equally plausible. Of course you wouldn't. Eric, are you drowning? Blurb, glub, glub. Yeah, sounds about right. Ella scowls at me and I offer a shrug in return. So what are we doing with all this stuff? Irene seems unfazed by the Herculean task set out before us. I sorted it into piles based on location. Over here is hallways, over there is classrooms. We got exterior decorations and miscellaneous pile here. 4 piles, 4 of us. I work better with direction. Working in a group also raises morale. Really? Not gonna jump on the exterior decorations pile? There's no point in hiding in decorations. How dare you insult Easter? Irene. Not gonna hide anything, Ella. I'm here to help, not ruin everything. Thank you. I am taking that pile, though. Let's get everything else done first. No arguments here. For a long, I sort of unspoken chain of command is established. Ella delegating tasks to Isolde and I while Irene transports material. I'd say we make a good team, except that I could be replaced by literally any one of the functional pair of legs to much greater effect. Aside from a desk job, there aren't many tasks I'm most suited for these days. Gives me more time to move stuff, was all Irene said on the topic. It's hard to know when people are just being polite, but Irene doesn't seem the sort to sugarcoat anything. And the idea of Ella thinking negatively is weird and alien. Isola's even picked up on Ella's change in attitude, seemingly hesitating to ask for more help on her end. Even so, progress is made, and the daunting pile of what I'm assured are the best moments of my high school life slowly shrinks as the night descends. It's almost 2000 before Ella stops the group, only for the exterior decorations pile left. In her defense, the school really does look good at this point. I'm a little too tired to be proud of it, but it looks good. Alright, thank you all so much for helping. I would have been here all night getting all this put up. We're not done yet, though, unless Irene wants to put up all the outdoor banners herself. I'll let it end in a question, hoping against hope Irene will accept this ludicrous proposal. Sure. Damn, so much... Wait, what? I got it. Not a big deal. Are you sure? Having actually received what I wished for, I'm suddenly faced with the moral consequences of leaving Irene holding the bag, and it doesn't feel good. It's fine, Eric. You've done more than enough tonight. Irene and I can take it from here. Isolde looks to me for some hint as to whether or not to accept this generosity, but I'm just as unsure. Irene, however, has other plans. Ella, that includes you. I've got this. You should get some sleep. I mean, wait, there's no way you can get that done by yourself. Sure there is. You do this sort of thing every day, don't you? Not quite this much. Look, I don't plan on waking up any earlier than I have to anyway, and I know for a fact that you're going to be out the door at sunrise. If you were out here the whole time, you'd be dead on your feet tomorrow. That's not fair to you. You've been working overtime all week. This is more than fair. Glancing over, Isolde has a look of mild panic, one I absolutely sympathize with. In minutes, this has become a generosity arms race. But I volunteered, not you. It's my responsibility. And now I'm volunteering, so it's mine. It's a pleading note to Ella's voice now. You hate this sort of thing. So imagine how serious I must be about this. Go to bed, Ella. I've only heard this from Irene once before, a stern tone that brokes no argument. I'm not sure if she even remembers Isolde and I are here at this point. Ella shifts her weight uncomfortably from foot to foot, clearly unhappy with Irene's proposition, with no obvious way of avoiding it. Somehow, it's as if their roles have completely reversed. Irene sighs, softening a little. Half an hour. You can help me for half an hour, and if you're not going to listen at that point, I really will make you do it all by yourself. Deal? Deal. What about us? Like Ella said, you've done plenty. Don't worry about us. This sort of workload is nothing new. Okay. I guess we'll head out. If there's anything else you guys need tomorrow, let me know. I sincerely hope they don't, but I've got to offer. Absolutely. Thank you again for your help, Eric. Isolde. Irene gives us an odd little salute in lieu of a goodbye, already turning to start on her next task. Isolde waits until I start walking away before following, quiet as ever. That was odd. I think that's normal for them? It is? Is it? Guess you've known them for longer. Jeanne says Ella works too hard. I think so too. Maybe Irene thinks the same thing. Seems that way. At least someone is looking out for her. Isolde nods. The rest of the walk is spent in silence until we reach a point where our paths diverge. I know they already said it, but things are helping. I realize I'm not exactly cut out for this sort of thing. That's okay. Neither am I. She offers a strained smile, seemingly unsure of what expression she ought to make. You did just fine, though. We got a lot done thanks to you. Okay. I mean it. You were really helpful. If you say so. I might be here all night at this rate. Better stop here and hope for the best. I do. Tell Jeanne I said hi next time you see her. Till then. Isolde offers another nod and flees at a pace of short of jogging, as though my dismissal was the starting pistol for a one-woman race. Maybe I ought to ask Jeanne how not to scare Isolde. Speaking of, I wonder how she's doing. Suppose I could text her and let her know what's up. Send a quick text letting her know that we're... You do have Jeanne's number! You freaking turkey! A few seconds later, she replies. Yay, sorry I couldn't come. Had some work I had to finish up. All good. See you tomorrow. Happy face. Might as well finish up any little bits of homework I have left. That's better. Finally got that essay done. With all my homework finished for the gala, I can finally relax a little. Or not. Pick up the phone and answer before I see who's calling. Hey, Eric. Ella, what is it? I forgot to ask you while you're finishing up the decorations, but do you have any plans for the gala? I'm meeting my sisters before the gala starts, and we'll probably catch up a bit. Ella cuts me off before I can finish. Not what I meant. Then what did you mean? What did you mean? What am I going to wear? What time am I getting there? Are you asking anyone out? Ooh. Now I look like an idiot, I suppose. Hadn't really thought much about it. You don't need to choose, but the dance is a very nice event. It'd be a shame if someone didn't get to go. She's subtle. Are you making me ask you out to the gala? Do you want to? What do I say? I mean, I'm kidding, of course. I'm busy enough with handling the event with the rest of the staff on duty. My chin state quickly deflates. Guess she was just teasing me again. I know someone has been wanting an excuse to go for a while. I think for a second. Isolde's, which only leaves Jeanne. Is she the gala type? Not really, but she definitely loves parties. Going alone would be awkward, wouldn't you say? She's got a point, I guess. I mull it over again. On one hand, Jeanne would certainly like to go to the dance, according to Ella. I don't really want to just take her out when she's not really known me for about 2 weeks. Unless she's really that into me, which in that case, why not try things out? I could ask her out if it means that much to her. Great, she'll like that, trust me. If I get turned down, I'll only have myself to blame. You got it. She hangs up, leaving to figure out the best way to phrase things for Jeanne. I mulled over for a few minutes before finally mustering enough courage to take the plunge. Jeanne should still be up, right? I find her number on my phone and start calling. Very quickly, she picks up her phone. Eric, what's up? Do you need something? Nah, I'm just seeing what you're up to. I see. Okay. Easy there, Eric. Lead into it naturally. I mean to say this for a while, but thanks for your help, for your tutoring help this past few days. Oh, well, if I could see her over the phone, I'm sure she'd be blushing. It's no big deal. I do it all the time. I'm really glad you were around to help, and well, I take a deep breath. I'd like to take you to the gala as my date this weekend as a way of saying thanks. Now it's her turn to take a deep breath. A long, agonizing pause. I think I'd like that, actually. My entire body sighs in relief as I crack a wide smile at her response. Great. I guess we'll just meet a little bit before the dance starts then. Sure, sounds good. Everything okay? You sound nervous. I'm fine. I'm just really excited. Merci pour l'invitation, Eric. Instantly, I know how to respond. Tout le plaisir est pour moi, Jeanne. Your French is getting better. No, it's not. Merci. Friday's just the commencement ceremony, so why don't you, me, Isolde, and Ella all go as a group? Sounds good. Then that just leaves you and me for Saturday, right? She laughs over the phone. I look forward to it, Eric. Same here. Thanks, Jeanne. Say our goodbyes and hang up. Wow. I can't believe that worked. I give myself a pat on the back and a much-deserved high five as I finally settle in for the evening. Like that bit in Futurama where Bender extends his arm and high fives himself. I could see Eric doing that. Minus the kaleidoscopic arms. The excitement in the air is almost palpable as people whisper about their weekend plans behind our teachers' backs. Pretty sure it's contagious, as even my quieter classmates are getting worked up over the event. The teachers see our collective inherent energy and restlessness and try to make the lectures as minimal as possible over the course of the school day. The bell signifying class change goes off and I head out to the gymnasium for PE. I think I'll try to talk to Jeanne so we have everything planned out for later tonight. I don't want to seem too pushy, though. Just act casual.
Good afternoon, Eric. Jeanne greets me as we exit from our respective changing rooms. Hey, you ready for tonight, then? Yeah, got a clean uniform, ready to go. Like having everything ready in advance. It's just a habit of mine. This way I can take less time worrying if my skirt's rumpled or not. I guess girls are always preparing things. A lot of my sisters seem to love planning things out, and Jeanne seems no different. The dance isn't until Saturday, but I still took the time last night to iron all the wrinkles out of the dress I'll be wearing, too. That sounds like some women I know. Yep, just like my sisters. In a way, it's nice seeing a bit of Beatrice and Hilda in her. That's a little weird, but okay, I'll pretend you didn't just say that. Wonder if they'll get along. Wonder what they have for the dinner party tonight. Any ideas? Nothing too fancy. It's always a setup from the standard fare. Plus, it's free. Can't complain about that. Jeanne nods in agreement as the two of us head to the rest of the class in the gymnasium. PE is pretty standard. Calisthenics and a lap around the indoor track, followed by playing a game that Miss Week randomly picks out. Today's sport's just a match of football, turned surprisingly close, and the opposing team got in a hard-to-reach goal. 5 furious minutes of kicking and punting later, and the game ends with us winning by a single point. I find that working up a sweat like this really eases my nerves, especially about this entire weekend. Shame then that the dance, the event that I'm naturally the most nervous about, is on Sunday, as opposed to later tonight. Still, I take solace in the fact that tonight's just a simple dinner.
Is it, though, Eric? Is it?
The end of the day comes, the sun beginning to nest in the trees of the surrounding forest. Time to get going, I suppose. Okay, I have a formal-ish outfit. Nothing too fancy, a simple shirt and a sports jacket. Save my formal wear for Sunday. Phone buzzes the text message from Ella. Ready? Sure hope I am. Ready as I'll ever be. Almost ready. Meet us by the girls' dorms, okay? Got it. Thanks. Final brush with my hair, a quick overlook on my outfit, and I'm all set. I make my way over to the girls' dorms, trying to keep the butterflies in my stomach from bursting out and spilling over the pavement. Easy, Eric. It's just dinner. Eric! An open window from above gets my attention as Ella waves in my direction. You guys ready? Just in time. We're coming down now. I grin. Just on time, or was this Ella's timing? Sure enough, after a minute, the 3 girls exit out the main doors. Evening, ladies. The girls bid me good evening in return, and we all make our way to the chapel for the opening ceremony. The chapel is packed, much more so than when I first visited. We all managed to find some seats in the back. Gone is the quiet, serene feeling when I first came here. Now it's a place filled with energy and festive spirit as staff, students, and other guests await the beginning of the opening ceremony. So strange that a place can feel so different after you add a couple dozen people. Similarly, when I first came to St. Dimphna's, there was a certain feeling I gave this place. Remote. Distant. I was never sure I was meant to belong here. Even now, I still feel a bit out of touch. But with everything that's happened these past 2 weeks, it's definitely become less awkward. The ceremonies filled with pomp and circumstance as expected out of a church like this one. It's never really much for things like this, as far back as I can remember anyway. I know how to stay quiet and about how to stay still, but that's about all I really wanted to care about. I don't even know half of the songs and hymns either. Jeanne and Soda look on were both seemingly more interested in the ceremony than I am. Jeanne's even singing along in German. Not nearly as good as Katja's voice by comparison, but it's certainly not terrible. Eventually we'll all sit down and patiently wait for Father Max to start his homily. The speech is well crafted, albeit long-winded. Religious people typically are. Piece on the importance of staying close to your family and friends. I notice Jeanne again, out of the corner of my eye. She seems to be paying attention more than most people here, though I can't help but notice how slight frown throughout the speech. It's probably not my place to pry, though. The homily ends, and the remainder of the ceremony plays out much like I remember from home. Breaking of the bread, a sign of peace, sacrament of communion. After receiving the Lord's body and blood, I walk back to our pew, with the rest of the girls following suit. The remainder of the congregation slowly trickles back, ending the silent procession. After a pause, Father Max prompts everyone in the chapel to rise. Short send-off of the closing prayer and the choir, and the ceremony ends. The crowd of people quickly shuffle out before we get the chance to, so we stay behind to talk about the ceremony. So, what do you think of our little ceremony, Eric? It's been a while since I've been in church. That was interesting. Not all that religious, then? Well, I don't really know, to be honest. How so? Looking back, I never really had religion pressed on me by my parents, I guess. We celebrated on holidays and we occasionally went to the local church, but none of us were all that religious. I was the opposite. My parents took me to church every Sunday when I was younger, had me study the Bible, even sing in the children's choir for a year. Jeanne just gets better and better, doesn't she? What happened? Jeanne shrugs. Just wasn't interested anymore. By the time I was 8 or 9, I was wholly engrossed with books in school. I didn't even get in trouble in class for reading books I brought from home. Didn't know you could get punished for the pursuit of knowledge. Well, when it's during the middle of an important lecture, the teachers don't take too kindly to that. What about you, Isolde? When the church was nice, my mom and I would always get a seat by the window. We had those ones with the beautiful stained glass pieces, and they were really pretty.
Other than that, I never really got into it either. I didn't like singing because everyone around me would sing off key and it hurt my ears. Didn't like how loud the organ got sometimes. Not for everyone, then. The girl's not in agreement. Looks like the crowds are dying down. Shall we get going? Journeying through the crowd surrounding the Great Hall, we finally make it through where dinner is being held. Where are we going to sit? It's so crowded. Ella stops and gives us a wistful look. I need to meet with some of the other organizers, unfortunately. I'll see you three later. She vanishes into the crowd, her trademark beret bobbing and weaving around the hall. Found us a spot. Should we go? Might as well before they're taken. Isolde guides us to a mostly unoccupied table. It's a bit far from the food tables, but at least we can put our coats down here. Ready? Isolde and I both nod. Okay. She leads the way towards the food tables, aiming for the plates and cutlery. It's quite a spread here. At least 5 kinds of soup, various dishes from around Europe. Was that schnitzel over there? Plenty of desserts at the very end of the long table. I pick out some meaty pieces of trout and heap spätzle from the trays, snatch up a rather large rye wheat roll from the bread basket nearby, and end my gastronomical journey with a smattering of fruit tarts. It's a lot, my plate holds pretty much all of it just fine. As the three of us return to our seats, we comment on our choices of food. Jeanne picked out some rather hearty dishes, including some bratwurst and bratkartoffeln, as well as some roasted white asparagus. Finally, a large cheesecake slice adorns the final arc of the plate she's carrying, dripping with chocolate sauce. This German food's fantastic. Did you have this a lot at home, Eric? Reminded my mother's cooking back home. Plates piled high, laden with food such as this. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had any bratwurst, though. Want one of mine? She offers me one of her 3 smallish sausages, each adorned with a bit of sauerkraut. I eagerly accept, rolling it onto my plate. Well, don't get me wrong, I love bratwurst, but sauerkraut is nasty, and I will never apologize for saying so. Hey, thanks. I take a bite. It's included with a fairly dark beer, from what I can gather. It melds with the salty flavor of the sauerkraut, creating a richly textured, heavy meat. Isolde, what do you have? Isolde has some sauerbraten and several large potato dumplings, a salad, and a large bowl of grapes next to a few scoops of ice cream. That's a lot of grapes there. For the ducks. Ah. To each their own, I guess? It's been a long week, but those food definitely make up for it. A worthy reward for all those hours hunched over those hot magenta markers. All of us head up for seconds, this time with some lighter fare and more desserts. Goodness, I usually don't eat this much food. It's been a while since school has had this kind of fare. It's been too long. I'm not complaining. The rest of dinner consists of sampling each other's plates and picking away at more desserts. Soon enough, however, we start to feel heavy and bloated from the dense German, Austrian, French, and Polish offerings. I think that's it for me. Too much cake. So take a click of her finger sound flat, almost sluggish. Is she tired? How can I carry all these grapes? In the interim, Isolde managed to find another bowl of grapes. Isolde, please don't talk about food right now. What do I do about these grapes? Do you bring a bag at all, or a purse? Isolde flashes a small handbag from her seat. Could probably fit 1, maybe 2 handfuls. I guess I can help carry a few of them. Isolde's face lights up and she grabs most of them in her hands, leaving some spilling over onto the table, then motions for me to carry the rest. Guess this means we're ready to go? Jeanne, let's get going. Sure, better walk off all this food. The food in my stomach shifts as I stand up. Did I really eat that much? I slow myself down to not make myself dizzy. Try my hardest to ignore that I'm holding 2 handfuls of grapes for Isolde. Tops of that, I'm trying to ignore the massive amount of food I just ate. Feels like a brick resting in my abdomen. Worth it. We take our time heading back so as to settle our stomachs a little bit more. Jeanne, Isolde, and I part ways midway back, with all of us planning to meet sometime at the dance. Isolde scurries off, all the grapes spilling some as she goes. She starts to leave. I call after her. You sure you'll give all this to all the ducks? I feel bad if they didn't get to eat anything nice. These are good grapes after all. Don't waste them. That won't be a problem. She really loves those birds, I guess. I'll be at the astronomy club booth tomorrow. Promise you'll swing by? Sure thing. It'd be nice to see our class around campus, too. Of course, Ella promised us pictures of everything, too. Knowing Ella, she would have pictures of this event. Pretty sure I saw her around tonight with a camera. See you two later, then. Say our goodbyes, and the 2 girls head inside. Day 1 completed. Not bad. I feel like we're at the end of things. This episode might be a little extra long, because, if we're already here, I might as well wrap it up. But it might be the first time in my life I roll out of bed with some enthusiasm. I took off the alarm and didn't get prepared to gusto. I'm not especially interested in the cultural festival itself, but I did promise Jeanne and Isolde I'd be there in time. Once I'm sure I got everything I need, I'll leave my room and head for the festival. Seems that I wasn't the only early riser today. The hall is nearly packed, full of both booths and guests. It only takes a moment to find the astronomy club, far across the room and on the left. Spot both Jeanne's commanding presence and Isolde's trademark ponytail, as well as some students I don't recognize. I'm hesitant to push through the crowd surrounding the group. Still, it's not as if I can go back to my room or anything like that. I woke up early for this, damn it! As I head towards the booth, I can see both Jeanne and Isolde occupied with their own tasks. Isolde's poring over the display with some books, and Jeanne is off to the side. Visitors today, that's just an estimate, of course, but it would be great if that many showed up. Jeanne's voice drifts into focus as I get closer. At this point, my ears are probably trained to pick out her voice from a crowd. Right now, she's emphatically discussing something with a couple of students. One hand holds a muffin, which sheds a few crumbs as she gestures. Then she turns towards the front door to say something and looks directly at me. It takes a second to register, but she smiles in response. Good morning, Jeanne. Oh, hey, good morning. Give me just a sec. Louise, can you get these posters up near the foyer? Thanks. Jeanne turns back to me after giving her orders. Looks like you got your hands full already. This? It's not too bad. We're actually trying to get a few more people over here. I take it that's what these posters are for. She nods, taking another bite of her muffin, chasing it down with some water as she continues. That's right. Since we're all the way back here, we want something that can be seen from the entrance. She motions to some of her fellow astronomy club students, raising her voice over the crowd. Boys, can you get this set up on the table? She gestures at a box near her feet, which contains a disassembled telescope. The two boys next to her nod and begin to unpack. Sorry I can't show you these things, Eric. I'm a little swamped at the moment. How about I just come back in a few minutes? No, why don't you help her? How about I get one of those muffins? Sure, I'll take you tray out in the classroom for both attendants. I'm sure she can sneak one out for you since you were so helpful. Sounds like some good compensation? I'll see you in a few minutes. Bye. She waves me off, leaving me to briefly explore the other booths in search of Ella. You are such a putz. Thankfully, it's not too hard to find the classroom Jeanne was describing. Ella's standing right outside it, juggling a stack of papers and a tray full of muffins for the booth workers. Ella instantly locks onto me, gesturing as best she can with her shoulders to encourage me to come over. It's unintentionally hilarious to watch. I had to suppress a laugh as I approach, plucking a muffin from the tray. Good morning. Is one of these for me? Of course. You don't need to ask. You helped out so much this week. There's nothing. I'm glad I was able to lend a hand. How's Jeanne? Dunno, she told you that, but I asked her out last night after we talked. And she said yes. Hey, congrats. Jeanne doesn't want to admit it, but she's been crushing hard on you for a while. I'm taking a screenshot of that. Really? Oh yeah, it's kind of hard to not see it, especially when she keeps sneaking glances at you this week. How are girls so perceptive about these things? I had no clue there was this whole female gaze thing going on with Jeanne. I'm flattered, I guess. I gotta get these papers out to the teachers. See you later, Eric. Leave her off, watching her vanish into the growing crowd. See, this isn't 100% of guys, but this is a lot of guys, so bear with me as I try to explain this as best I can. We are dumb. Like, if we see someone else, like a girl and a guy who are flirting, we'll be like, oh, they're definitely into each other. This is obvious as broad daylight. Now put us in that position. If a woman's hitting on us, we're like, she sure is nice. That's the end of the trope. That's the end of the thought. It stops there. Like, I know women are like, oh my gosh, why can't you take a hint? It's like, well, we can't. We don't see the hint. There is no hint. And like, we are programmed not to see it. I don't know. I'm dumb in particular, so maybe I'm just particularly resistant to it. I don't know. Something like that. I wave her off, watching her vanish into the growing crowd. Muffin and tow, I head back to Jeanne's booth. On my way back, I look around at the students and adults walking around. A lot of students are leading their parents around the hallways. Kinda wish my parents were here, but at least I'll be seeing my sisters tomorrow night. Wouldn't hurt to give Mom a phone call, too. There you are, Eric. Jeanne sneaks up from behind me. Ella's words echo in my mind. Jeanne's definitely going to spend some extra time with me. What's up? Didn't you need to stay at the booth? Not really. Isolde's been keeping people entertained with the telescopes you have on display, so I think she'll be fine. I got one of the other members to take over while I'm gone. So, what do you want to do now? Since you're new, how about I take you around the other club's booths, with some fun ones that I saw in their hallways? Sure, why not? She beams at me as she urges me to follow her. The halls have a bunch of activities available, from a cooking demonstration to a plant cultivation lecture. It's all really in-depth, a lot of love and effort put into each. Ooh, let's try this one. Jeanne eagerly points at the game developer's club booth, where a few students are setting up a few monitors and keyboards. You like games? Of course, they're a great way to relax. Oh, Jeanne, you get better all the time. I have no regrets. What kind of games do you like? I prefer strategy and simulation games. Enough challenge to keep me focused, you know. Okay, Jeanne, I have this thing. It's called Monster Rancher, and it's kind of like both of those things. The only difference is it doesn't tell you the rules. You just gotta figure it out. Or there's a Snek that made some half-baked guides, but is currently working on much more robust versions of said guides. That makes sense. I don't really play enough video games in general, but the ones these students have made seem fun. According to the booth information, the club split into 2 teams earlier this year to make some games. The 2 games on display, a colorful puzzle game involving a cube and a simple point-and-click adventure game, each having their own little table for students to play with. Let's try the adventure game. Sure. Jeanne and I take a seat next to each other. One of the students gives us a few instructions to get started, and we start the game. It's a pretty neat adventure game about a group of detectives trying to solve the mystery of an allegedly cursed school. There's a variety of puzzles, conversations with suspects, and even some original music made by a club member. The main story isn't complete yet, but the students are confident it'll be done by next year. This is really well made. Yeah, how do they make all these puzzles so quickly? Well, the info page says they got a lot of help from various online resources. Makes sense, like getting a tutor for struggling with something. Exactly. Still, awesome work. I hope they can finish their game. Same here, I'd definitely play more of this. We talked with some of the developers who asked for some feedback. They're very excited that feedback so far isn't positive, isn't helping them to see where they can improve. Alright, let's head back to my booth. I should probably check up on Isolde. Cool, sounds good. Sure enough, Isolde is eagerly demonstrating telescopes and talking about how they work, just like Jeanne said she would. Good, she's holding up just fine. Were you worried? She's okay with crowds, but only in certain conditions. Last night she was working on her presentation and wanted to make it sound right, so we rehearsed a few lines. But looks like things worked for her. We have Isolde, who finally finds a stopping point for her latest demonstration. Hey, she's looking a lot more energetic than usual. Strangely endearing. How are things over here, Isolde? The demos were a success, and I think we might have some new members soon. They were all very nice and wanted to ask a lot of questions. That's great news. Great job, Isolde. How do you wonder what one of her demonstrations looked like to be so successful? We're going to take a break soon. I think we'll have one of the second shifts here in a few minutes. Do you need to head out early? Isolde nods. Alright, see you later. Isolde walks off in the direction of the break room, presumably in search of one of those muffins Ella had. Need any help? Sure, feel free to hand out some flyers and draw people in. I can do that. This half hour is spent with me bringing people over while Jeanne talks about the history of astronomy, various photos of planets and stars the club has taken, and more. Eventually, Isolde returns looking refreshed. I'm back. Good, you look better. We have a few more people coming in, so I think we won't be so overwhelmed. Great. We talk a little bit more about the club display and the plans for tomorrow, all while Jeanne and Isolde help out with the other club members. Eventually the sun starts to set and the crowd starts to peter out. I think it's time we pack things up. That was a long day. I'm glad so many people were here. Any help putting this away, you two? We had the other club members to help out, but I wouldn't mind if you lent us a hand, Eric. Sure, no problem. Help with breaking down the display and help the club bring everything into storage. Thankfully it doesn't take nearly as long as setting it up did. Any plans for tonight? Not really. I think I'll head to my room early and relax for tomorrow. Same here. Okay, see you tomorrow, Eric. Look forward to it. She puts on a big smile as she heads home with Isolde, two of them giggling at something I can't quite make out. Her cheerfulness is infectious. Can't help but smile on my way back to my dorm. It's because you're crushing my dude. Ella texts me for help with some last-minute work for the gala later in the night. Somehow I knew my servitude wasn't quite over. We arrive at the Great Hall. It looks like the school staff has cleared out all the long rectangular tables that have been here for the open house and replaced them with circular ones. They're covered in clean white tablecloths and arranged at the sides of the room, with the central floor left open for dancing. They just asked me if I could set up the centerpieces for dinner. I think the supplies are over there. She points to the corner of the room where a bunch of cardboard boxes of wrapped glassware is sitting, unsightly in the perfection of the Great Hall. Shouldn't take too long, but it does. We have to assemble the centerpieces ourselves from the description Ella was given. Candles, vases, flowers, and we had to go asking around for the flowers because they don't seem to be here. And there are so many tables. We're not done till after curfew, but Ella promises me we'll be let off the hook because the job is so important. When I finally make it back to my room, I should be tired, but instead I stay up thinking about tomorrow. You have a crush on a pretty girl, you doofus. Eric, we're almost there. Thanks for the heads up. Let me know when you're here so I can head down and meet you. Got it, bro. Sunday at last. It's been 2 weeks since I've seen my family, and I miss them. Got a lot of the day together with them catching up. And then tonight, the gala. At least I'm going with Jeanne. She's easy to get along with. My sisters, on the other hand... When we get to the parking lot, they're already outside the car. Yuja's wearing a nice black dress, while Hilda's wearing a more casual yet professional sport coat. Glad to see you two. You too, little brother. Yeah, it's good to see you. Where's Ella? You taking her to the dance? The gala. That was quick. No. She sets her hands on her hips and frowns at me. Come on, Eric, why not? Maybe she has another date. Why don't you let him take a breath before you interrogate him? That's funny coming from Hilda. Before now, she's always been the interrogator. I plan to take my sisters around to see my classroom in the library, but it might not even be open this early. First, grab some muffins from downstairs, and I show them around outside. The track, the pond, the forest, they're not really that interesting to an outsider, no matter what strange tales I have associated with them. Hitting the club rooms could be interesting, but I'm not really a member. I don't know if it's my place to show them off. The chapel's an attractive point of interest to a few people, but I remember my sisters talked about a headmistress from their school days who reportedly so rough they could use her navel to sharpen a pencil. Let's skip the chapel. Classroom should be a quick visit. Miss Clace is persevering through the morning, describing her curriculum in depth to what must be the 100th parent today. I know show my sisters my desk, but Hilda's eyes are drawn to the door at the back of the room. What's that room in the back? That's the relaxation room. Relaxation room? I'm guessing it's an accommodation thing for certain students? Sort of. Relaxation room. It's a place for students to use when they need a moment to themselves. As Clace walks out, the previous parents already having left. Ah. Beatrice seems unsure how to respond to this information, and the teacher. Hello. Miss Clace, let us see your sisters have come for today's activities. Are there any questions I can help you with? For one, I can see how that would be useful. Thank you, Hilda. I'm sure they have other little additions all over the school for various possible needs, right? Yes, it's quite correct. We do our best to accommodate our students' needs. Do you have any questions? So, don't worry about it. Come on, I want to look around. Right. Beatrice seems confused, but follows anyway. Thank you, Hilda. What? What is she trying to say? Miss Clace nods as we steer Beatrice out of the room. Having avoiding talk about to discuss the people who sit around me, we move on to something more exciting. Libraries are almost always empty on Sunday, so I figured it's a good place to show my sisters. Instead, I find a mob of students at the entrance. The booth in front serving sandwiches. Realizing that we haven't eaten yet, I order 3. I hope we consume them before entering the library. Inside is pretty quiet. The usual study groups seem to be absent. It's a library. Well, yes. The school this sold, I was expecting something, I don't know, maybe a bit more gothic? As I turn to suggest we go elsewhere, a click and a flash startles us. As my eyesight clears, a familiar face comes into view. Oh, look, it's Mr. Too Busy for Club. Hi, Lena. A gentle call behind me is a reminder that introductions are necessary. Beatrice, Hilda, this is one of the members of the newspaper club, Lena Forst. Lena, my sisters, Beatrice and Hilda. Her stern judge, Lena looks my sisters over, nodding slightly, shuts the camera down, and takes out her notebook. Mind if I ask a few questions? After all, someone got too busy last week to help out. Switching frantically through my mind, I try to come up with an excuse to avoid. Sure, come on, Hilda, it'll be fun. Hilda shrugs. Okay, first off, can you tell me where you're from? Switzerland originally, but we live in Vienna now. Looks like you had some time to look around today. Share your impressions of the school so far. It's old, not that that's a bad thing, just we expect the school like to seem more modern, I guess. Zoning out, I missed a few questions, not really caring much about what Lena's doing. In case you were unaware, over the years, several parents have expressed concerns of the religious undertones of the Dimfnatag, considering it a form of indoctrination which the school is allegedly free of. Family, how do you feel about St. Dimnus' religious affiliation, and what effect can this have on the student body? Whoops. Can I roll back? Yes, I can. That's fine. I mean, sure, Eric's not exactly the church-going type, but he's so dense that any indoctrination would just zoom past his head. I'm dense. At least I didn't accidentally pack my underwear into your suitcase. How did you know it was mine? I didn't. I can hear Hilda struggling to control her laughter. Great, the whole family is like this. Yeah, I think this isn't going to work. If I can get another word in edgewise, she storms off. We're looking for some other unsuspecting victim to interrogate. Yeah, she's a Reddit atheist. She usually like this. All I can manage is a shrug. Charming. After the surprise interrogation, my sisters and I decided that maybe getting ready for the gala would be the smart thing to do. I lead my sisters back across campus. Looking around all the parents beginning to arrive, I'm sort of glad it's Beatrice and Hilda here rather than my parents. I trust their fashion sense more than my mother's. It's a weird thing to say, but okay. I'm grateful that I cleaned up my room this morning. Last thing I need is my sisters to rag me about laundry. You're not going to wear this, are you? She finds the outfit I wore the other night. No, I was actually airing it out from Friday. It still stinks. What was the occasion? Opening ceremony. Started with an evening mass followed by dinner. 2 dinner parties in one weekend. How lavish. That event was a little more exclusive. Sound a little like I'm bragging, which I am. A little. Mostly for school's patrons and rich alumni. How'd you get in? I'm a student. Have you managed to catch up with your studies? It's really tricky, I admit, but I'm working on it. Need help? I'm sure Beatrice could lend a hand. Mentally, I add in the unsaid meaning behind her words. Eric, take care of your sister so I could have more alone time every once in a while. Guess that means a new boyfriend is in the picture. Hilda returns to picking out an outfit after tossing a pair of girls' panties on our sister. So that's where these went. The errant panties have been repatriated to their proper owner. I'm glad you didn't make a scene out of it or accuse me of stealing them. Tired of how long it was taking, I decided to take a more active role in dressing myself and push past Beatrice. Come on, this is taking too long. Did you go to dinner with anyone? Yes. Who? Cut it out. I went with some friends. We'll be meeting them later tonight. Come on, I need to know. Sighing, I give up fighting it. I went with Ella, who you met last time, and 2 members of the astronomy club, Jeanne and Isolde. What are they like? Jeanne's kind of short, French, dark hair. She's kind of French, you know the type. Isolde, you'll have to meet her to understand. From the look on Beatrice's face, she's clearly screaming some image of a pair of Riviera debutante. They've been helping me study. I did miss out on a bit of school, after all. A tutor, huh? I see. Come on, if I don't get ready, we'll never make it. All right, let's see. I lead my sisters to the building where the gala is being held, pointing out the various buildings where we have our classes, the area where the library is, and the chapel around the corner. Yeah, that's my version of the tour. Thoughts? That one girl who gave you the tour, Ella? Did you ask her out? Is she your date? Beatrice, don't be rude. She's nice, but she's not, well... Oh, is that the hall up ahead? Hilda quickly switches gears, much to my relief. Yeah, it's a big space for events and some classes, according to Ella. Nosing the crowd surrounding one of the entrances, I crane my neck around to see if I can pick out Jeanne. And nothing. Maybe she's not here yet? Guys mind waiting here? I'm going to try and find my date. Beatrice giggles at my mention of my date. He's all grown up now, Hilda. Shush. The crowd is slowly getting much bigger as I start approaching it like a rising tide. Nothing person who looks like Jeanne but without her glasses. That Lena over there? My phone vibrates. A text maybe? If we would take it out to see who it is. It's from Jeanne saying she's in the gala hall. If we would text a reply, then rush back to my sisters. She's inside already. Let's go. Okay. After a minute or so in line, we finally enter. The tables that I had helped set up arranged around a large square in the very middle of the area. A few couples are already dancing. A few students, led by one of the teachers, play a simple waltz to pass the time. And there in the middle of the hall... Ah, hey. I think I see her. Jeanne! Eric, there you are! To make eye contact, I pause for a sec. Jeanne is very well dressed. She's wearing a dark purple cocktail dress to him just dangling over her knees. She's put up her hair in a bun, keeping it secure with a red pen. Stunning ensemble that leaves you speechless for more than a few seconds. Yeah, you and me both, hero. After a brief moment of waiting for a gap in the crowd, she glides over to me. That definitely suits you. I was worried I wouldn't be able to find you. Glad I found you then. You look good tonight. Now that we're closer, I can tell she's wearing a touch of makeup, and do I smell perfume? Of course, her glasses are in their usual spot, framing her eyes, which also have just the barest hint of eyeshadow around them. Were they always that blue? Suddenly I feel underdressed for this occasion. Seems Jeanne didn't notice my awkward-as-hell greeting. You look good too, Eric. Now it's my turn to blush. Oh, Eric. My sisters pop in from behind. Is this your date? Yes, Beatrice, Hilda, I'd like you to meet my friend Jeanne Lefebvre. Jeanne, these are my older sisters, Beatrice and Hilda. Good evening, it's nice to meet you both. Hilda professionally extends out her hand to shake Jeanne's. Nice to meet you, Jeanne. Hilda's handshake is ladylike, proper, and gentle. Years of insistence that she has a good first impression via handshake seems to slowly pay off. It's nice to meet you. Beatrice, on the other hand, is a greeting that is less of a shake and more like an intent to jostle her and target's entire body. Jeanne, surprised at Beatrice's vigor, nervously stammers out another greeting. A jab from Hilda, and Beatrice backs off. So Eric says you've been tutoring him recently. Yes, he's been doing well. Without her, I'd be stuck with mounds of homework and hours of studying. Like everyone else here. Well, I still have to study for my other classes, and Jeanne needs time to do other homework. We really only spend a small bit of the afternoon in the library. So she helps you make more sense of what you're learning, more notes and the like. I nod. That's right. Do you two do anything else outside of tutoring? We should go to the cafeteria and eat afterwards. Eric came in at a busy time in the school year, so we've been really busy in the evenings. And I've been roped into it as of late, too, mainly preparing for this event. Really? Eric Wilhelm, so eager to get involved. It's most unlike you. I laugh sheepishly while I watch Jeanne struggle not to laugh at my sister's antics. Thankfully, the music played by the band increases in volume as the lights start to dim. A waltz starts up, officially signaling the start of the evening's festivities. Ooh, it's the first dance. Go on, you two. But, go. She shoves me towards Jeanne. The two of us lock eyes for a fleeting moment. Care to dance, then? Another one of those cute smiles. Of course. She offers her hand to mine and I gently nestle it into the crook of my arm. We walk over to where other couples are gathering and get ready to dance. Wait. Oh, geez, this is going to be awkward. Jeanne, I don't know how to dance very well. The most cliched line in history. Never thought I'd be the one to say it. Well, the truth is, I don't know much about dancing either. Just box step. It's easy. You just both awkwardly shuffle to the left or to the right. As long as you agree on the direction, you should be fine. I read up on the steps to a waltz. We're coming here, though. Maybe I can guide you through what I know? As long as we don't trip over ourselves, I think we'll be fine. Okay, it's easy. Just step like... She waits for the beat of the music to hit on. 1, 2, 3. I follow her lead, muttering the same numbers under my breath to keep the beat. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And seeing me move around the dance floor, legs stiff as we attempt to not step on each other's feet. Other people seem to be doing the same thing. I can already hear a muffled ouch from my left. I guess we're not alone in our struggles, after all. As time goes on, we both start to relax, our legs become less rigid, and more in tune with the music. No words are exchanged, we attempt to focus on the beat. Doesn't feel like much time has passed when the music suddenly comes to a halt, signaling the end of the dance number. Smattering of applause, and the performers do a quick bow before resuming with another piece. The two of us leave the floor, heading back to a table. Isola's been watching us for a bit. We should say hi. Really? Where is she? She moves over to Isolde as we approach the table where she's seated. Aw, she got dressed up. Hello, you two. Are you having a good time? Yes, dancing's fun. I could tell. You're okay by yourself here? Isolde slowly nods. It's fine. This place is quiet and I won't bump into anyone in the corner. You sure you don't want to dance with one of us? Get your legs moving? Isolde thinks for a moment and shakes her head. I think I'm good. I'd rather just watch you two trying not to step on each other's toes. At least Isolde can derive some entertainment from us. Hey, you two. Beatrice comes running up to us, her face a bit flushed. Wait, there's no alcohol in the punch, is there? What is it? Gotta dance again. You only get to do these things once, you know. Hilda shows up shortly behind Beatrice, a cup of punch in her hand. Beatrice, don't bother them so much. You're shouting too loudly again. Jeanne and Isolde both giggle as Hilda shoves Beatrice aside. I'll keep her occupied while you have fun. But I need to see them. I'm at a loss for words. Sorry, my sisters are, well, it's okay. Nothing to be embarrassed about. And those two are... Oh, Isolde, these are my sisters, Beatrice and Hilda. Beatrice and Hilda wave, which seems to put Isolde at ease. They're just taking a break, so do you mind if they sit down next to you? It's fine. I'm gonna head back to my room soon anyway. Too crowded for you? Isolde nods and Jeanne instantly understands. I wonder if this has happened before. Okay then, I'll see you later tonight. Sure, have fun, Jeanne. You too, Eric. Thanks, see you later. Jeanne and I head back to the dance floor where another waltz has started. This time our movements feel a lot less stiff, and we can move better to the music. Once we get our steps down and our eyes off the ground, we get to talking in the interim. Your sisters are so nice, you know? That's what sisters do. At least, mine do anyway. They've been protecting me for as long as I can remember. Beatrice calls it her sisterly duty to care for me. Jeanne laughs at the comment. I was the only child growing up. I never had that experience. Do you have a big family, then? I'm the youngest of 4, so yeah, I'd say we're pretty big. What's being an only child like? It's had its ups and downs when I was growing up. Nice not having to fight over who got to play with your toys, but it would have been nice to interact with someone that wasn't my parents. A sudden twitch of her hand indicates that she wants to snap her fingers, but my hands are in the way. Sorry. No, it's fine. It's better to do these things uninterrupted. I can save those motor tics you've been seeing and release them at the end of the day. Dumb question. Why don't you do that all the time? Well, they have to be done a certain way, and the number of each separate tick can add up over a whole day. I kept track for a week. It was close to 800 or so by the end of it. Yikes, that's quite a bit more than I expected. That's something you have to manage, then. Yeah, it used to be a lot more problematic, though. I wasn't able to save my ticks up until recently. You found a way to do it here at St. Dymphna's. That's pretty neat. Yeah, my therapist has been a great help. Soon the music dies down as we exit the dance floor. Interested in some refreshments? I can see the punch bowl from here if you want me to get some. Thanks. I rush over to the bowl in question before the other students arrive, scooping some pink-colored liquid into 2 cups. In a matter of seconds, a good chunk of the student body started to surround me, all eager to have a taste. With surprising speed, I managed to escape before I'm entrapped by all of them. Now that I think about it, yeah, my leg isn't as numb as I thought it would be tonight. Still feel some tingling here and there, but it's feeling loads better than it's been in recent weeks. Eric! Jeanne walks up to me. Are you okay? That crowd looks busy. Nah, I got lucky. We were close enough, so it wasn't too bad. I hand Jeanne her cup of punch. Thanks. We both take a sip. The punch is sweet, tart, and bubbly enough to stimulate the taste buds. Not bad. Oh, this is good. Yeah? Never had punch before, believe it or not. Really? Never really went to these sorts of things before? Well, I asked you to come with me. Yeah. I've been asked out before, but I just never really followed through with it. What made me different then? Jeanne chuckles a bit. Bumping into you in physical education will certainly change things, right? Oh, guess that sort of goes without saying. Funny how things worked out. I still can't help but feel embarrassed over that. Like I said before, it's okay. There's no need to worry about it. I know, but I still feel bad. Don't be. She breaks into a small, soft smile. If you say so. The light starts to dim once more, with everyone excitedly gasping in response. Another song starts up, so much slower than the waltzes we danced to earlier. A slow dance. There's something more familiar. Collisions aside, I think we made good progress on being friends. Thanks for that, Jeanne. More blushing from Jeanne, followed by some rapid blinking. Doesn't take a genius to figure out her blinking is probably another nervous tick of hers. Possibly more of a nervous thing than a tick thing, but whatever. You're welcome, Eric. It's been great getting to know you these past few weeks. I smile. I'm glad to hear that. Really, I am. Jeanne returns my smile. She gets up, offering her arm. Shall we? Accepting her arm in mine, we make our way to the dance floor. It seems slow, almost seductive. We turn to face each other, ready to start dancing again. Our right hands meet up, my left hand gently resting on her back. I can't help but blush. Being this close together makes me aware of Jeanne's everything. Given that you have, you have clear line of sight to, what's a good way of me putting this? I'm like 3 or 4 hours in, aren't I? It's like her huge tracts of land, my boy. Her hair, her eyes, her hair, her smile, everything's so tangibly close and full detail. Like how you just, you focused on her face. Good job. Excellently played. The way we dance this song in comparison to the waltz is much more intimate. Eric, have you done this before? You're really good. So I kind of lied about not being able to dance. This is the only dance I know how to do well. Mom always says twirling me around when her favorite songs were on the radio. She always say, Eric, you have to hold a lady like this, and pull me around the kitchen. She sounds very sweet then. Surely you must be quite the gentleman, obliging her with so many dances. She's my mother. Can't exactly say no to her unless I go to bed without dinner. Jeanne fakes, gasps. How cruel! More smiles from the both of us as the song continues. The rest of the dancers fade into the background as we focus on each other, swaying in time to the music. This is nice. What about your parents? What do they do for a living? Jeanne's face falls for just a moment, quickly flips back with a smile. They're nice enough. My mother works as a marketing consultant. My father works at a publishing firm. They live pretty far away from here, so they couldn't come this year. Do you get homesick often, then? Jeanne takes a long pause, mulling over her next choice of words. Yes and no. I like living here, where I can be my own person and be a little more independent. But you're right that sometimes I miss my father's cooking or my mother's collection of old books. But, well, she trails off, looking almost forlorn about something. It's nothing you need to worry about, Eric. Let's just keep having fun. Sometimes Phil got her distracted. My instincts tell me it would be better off if I took the lead and said fun. Lead the way, Jeanne. Several more dances, chats with my sisters, and refills of punch later, the two of us are nearly spent. Jeanne yawns, causing me to do the same in response. Skiing late, according to my watch. Ready to head back, then? I think so. Isolde is most likely waiting for me. Sure thing. Let's get going. We get back to where my sisters are seated, having been watching us for the last few dances. Beatrice has a huge grin plastered on her face, and I'm pretty sure I know what she's thinking. Well, you two look like you're having fun out there. Not to speak for both of us, but I think we did the best out of anyone there. Was there a dance contest I wasn't aware of? No, Eric just liked keeping track of how many people's feet got stepped on around us. That and that's a chuckle from the both of them. Remember my first dance? I stepped on my date's shoes by accident, and did he ever howl? But Klaus? I remember him. He was nice. Sadly, after that, I don't think he was all too interested in me. Bad dances aside, you two had fun, yes? I did. Not a toe out of place, either. Well, we need to get back to Vienna. It's nice meeting you, Jeanne. The same to you, too. Thanks for taking care of my little brother here. I resent being called little. I'm a full head taller than you, at least. Beatrice shoos me away as we start heading outside. The night air is cool, with almost no wind, save for a light breeze. We start heading back. Hilda suddenly turns to me. Eric, we can head out from here. Yep, you two have a good night. Will do. My sister turns to embracing it, Beatrice squeezing around my torso with an extra tight hug. We love you, Eric. Call us if you ever need anything, all right? Of course, thanks. I peck on both cheeks of my sisters, and they quickly head out towards the school entrance. Suppose it's up to me to take you back, then. Sure seems to be that way. Lead on. The trip to the girls' dorm is rather short. We managed to enjoy the cool night air together, if only for a bit. I guess this is your stop then. Thanks for walking me back. And for tonight, I like being able to dance with you. I had a lot of fun. We're not too bad at dancing after all. That's very true. Good night, Eric. Sleep well. So I head back and find myself looking up at the night sky. There's no clouds out tonight, and the stars are crisp and bright. The night with Jeanne has made me feel a lot better about myself. For a time, I feel like I could almost forget about what happened to me back then and focus on what was in front of me. I think this place won't be as bad as I thought it would be. Not too bad at dancing. Enjoy the gala with Jeanne. So, that was my playthrough of Missing Stars Part 1, question mark? I don't know what these actual production details about the game are. I'm not going to get into that. It's not really my concern anyway. What I will say is I love this game. This was so good. Like, first off, I liked that they tried to be very respectful. They didn't come out and like throw it in your face that, hey, you know, they have whatever condition. They didn't treat them like they were lesser. They were different, and sometimes they needed accommodation, but like they were people. You know, everyone here was treated like they were a person. And I think that was the most beautiful and wonderful thing they could do. Obviously, I have my favorite. Jeanne was up and away my favorite. Of the 5 main girls, Jeanne number 1, I would say Pride Natalia number 2. I'm not going to rank them. That's a little mean. But I had my preferences. And I like what they're doing. There's some indirect storytelling happening here, and I love that. You are respecting both the player and you're respecting people who might have these conditions in real life. In fact, the only character who came out and said, hey, this is my diagnosis, were basically Eric and Jeanne. Now, that might be different if you do a different story path, because obviously you would see other events that I didn't see. But at the same time, like, I think they handled it really, really well. Like, this was just really heartfelt. Like Eric talked about, oh, hey, I have this somatic disorder. My leg is physically fine, but I still have these issues. And it's very clear that his mind frame is kind of what dictates it rather than some kind of physiological problem. Like, he has panic attacks. Like, even talking with Nell, he kind of locked up, and she was able to ground him, which I thought was really cool. I am an anxious person myself. Hashtag relatable. And Jeanne in particular, I loved that there was so much implied storytelling with her. There's clearly some issues with her parents. Like, every time her parents are brought up, she kind of started deflecting, but there was clearly this sense of love and nostalgia attached to it. So, like, I would love to see more of her. I would love to see more of these characters. I think all this is great. After a certain point, it was very clear that I had locked into Jeanne's path. Like, her path was shared with Isolde for, like, the second half, but it was very clear towards the end, like, Ella was definitely steering me to Jeanne at that point, because, like, I had not made it subtle at all that I wanted Jeanne. I love this. I love these characters. Like, they were characters first. They were characters who had some kind of neurodivergency or some kind of like tendency or character quirk. Like, Isolde was like really, really literal minded. I could guess. I'm not really a therapist, but like some of them I was like, okay, it kind of makes sense. I see what you're going for here. But I loved how respectful and kind this game was. I also love that it kind of avoided, like, there was no need for a recurring villain. Like there were like some antagonistic characters, but they weren't really the focus, is what I'm saying. I just think this was really, really, really well crafted. In the end, all I wanted is more. And we may or may not ever get it. But if the game devs find my playthrough, I want you guys to know you did an excellent job. What you have here is great. And if you never work on it again, that would be a shame. But what you have made here is wonderful. I will probably play through the other paths just to see them on my own time. I recommend you guys do the same. I know everyone doesn't share my personal proclivities, but I think that of the 5 main girls, that you'll easily zero in on one that you really, really like. So, this has been Missing Stars. And I have been your humble host, the Hipster Snek. Thank you for joining me for this extra special long finale. And I will see you guys in the next one.